How's it going, everybody? I'm Burrhead2, and welcome to my Year 2 Anniversary Video Retrospective video. I love syllables, some of my favorite things in the universe. Now, if you didn't watch my Year 1 Retrospective, or if you already have, but you've forgotten, this is how it's going to work. It's a bit of real talk, a bit of clown-to-clown conversation. I'm going to go through all the things I've done this year, all the videos and the Let's Plays and whatnot I've done this year, as I mentioned. I'm going to, retrospect on them, and I'll mostly talk about how they changed and all that kind of stuff. I have a list here, written list of all this stuff, of all the things I mentioned. Boy howdy, there's a lot, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. This is going to be a long video, I'm sure probably longer than the Year 1 Retrospective, which, speaking of which, that is the first video I'm going to be talking about today. Now, I did a little bit of retrospecting on that video, back in that video, but really I couldn't fully retrospect on it, because I was in the process of making the video. You know, I haven't even edited it at that time frame. That was the second take I've done for it, so I didn't really know how it was gonna work or what was gonna happen with that video. So actually, nothing interesting happened when editing that video. But let's talk about the thumbnail, because I hadn't made that one yet. I had to make it during the video. So a little Easter egg I have in that video's thumbnail is that if you noticed for some strange reason that well, 3 of the 4 fonts I used in the thumbnail of that video were very specific. Now, the first one, the Year 1, or 1 year, I think it was, that's in the Pikmin bubble font. That's not its actual name, I think. It's on Wikipedia somewhere. But whatever. The Pikmin bubble font, I had that one on hand for a while. And then was Seoge, I don't know how to pronounce it, UI Bold for Luigi's Mansion 3, then Seoge, whatever, UI Light for Super Mario Galaxy, and yes, I remember all this stuff off the top of my head, and then on Lucidia Bright for Security Breach. Speaking of which, let's transition into that, or let's mention the thumbnail. It's a nice little order there. Nice little Easter egg, I guess. Now let's transition into that. Oh boy, I have a lot to mention about that. Oh boy, I really do. There's so much to mention. It's something, and I've got a lot more to talk about it after this. But where do I start? Where do I start with that? Let's just talk about the most pressing issue I can think of right now. It's length. By golly, that thing is too long. 62 episodes, not counting the extra episodes, and this right here, I am officially apologizing for it being that long. It's not what I wanted. That is certainly not what I wanted. I was not trying to milk it, on purpose at least. It was not supposed to be that long. Now, the problem with that, and the reason is it's an artifact, not really an artifact, but that's just the way I was recording it. Because I didn't know how many episodes were going to be just complete, absolutely nothing happening in those things. And I couldn't, how was I supposed to know that, right? For all I knew, something's going to happen in an episode, and I just kept on talking and yakking about things, and more on that later, I suppose, if I remember. So, I just kept going, and eventually I get like 5 episodes of nothing happening in a row. And then I upload them. Now, could I have, not done that? Well, the thing is, I was afraid of referring to something I had already talked about in episode prior, and losing out on the continuity. So, that's the thing, I guess. I didn't want to lose the continuity of the things I was talking about, because, like I just said, I might refer to it later on. I suppose if I was paying more attention when editing, I could have, thought, okay, yeah, well, I didn't mention this in this episode, so I guess I can cut the one prior, because I didn't say anything about that. Yeah, I guess I could have done that, but it's a long time, okay? You can't fix the past. But a lot of episodes in there, especially in the second half, were just nothing was going on in them. First half, episode 13, nothing going on in that one. I would have cut that one. It has not been for what I was talking about. Later one, second half, the last 3 of the 5 collectathoning episodes were just, you could skip those. Most of those ones, basically up to last couple episodes, something like that, you could skip and not really lose anything important. There was just nothing going on there, and for that reason, I just kept talking. I didn't know something was going to happen, so I just keep on going. Yeah, I definitely do not like the fact it's reached 62 episodes. I mean, okay, I like the fact that it's a nice even, 31 first half, another 32 in the second half, 31 second half. That's nice, but it really shouldn't have been like that. It really shouldn't. And again, I'm very sorry. That kind of begs the question: what are my favorite episodes? I guess I'll get this out of the way right now. 12, I think, is a fun one. 14 is also a fun one, and 40. I like that one a lot as well. That's the one where I actually emote and get scared. I will admit that despite the problems of just so many episodes being boring and nothing happening, I think this is, thus far my favorite Let's Play. And I'm a Nintendo guy, right? I play a lot of Nintendo, I do a lot of Nintendo, but like this is the exception to the rule. And I quite, maybe not quite like it, but I think it was fun to watch. Not really fun to play, that's the thing. Looking back, I don't remember having fun playing the game. I had more fun watching myself get frustrated than actually playing the game. And that's true. But, yeah, give me a lot of like pausing and thinking here. That's just the way it's going to be. Now, I did have a consistent conversational topic in here. That was fake disorder cringe. Yeah, let's talk about that. The reason I started doing that, I'll explain in one of the episodes, is that the very same day I had recorded the first couple episodes, I sat down, I checked the subreddit, fake disorder cringe, and I found, like, a couple things, at least one person claiming to have a personality based off of one of the characters in the game. If I remember correctly, it was Freddy. And I think I found a couple more after that. I was like, hey, look at all this dumb stuff I found, right? And then I kept finding more, and I kept finding more, and I kept finding more, and I kept feeling kind of obliged to just keep on going and going and going with that conversation. The conversational topic, I guess. And, okay, I admit, I got kind of tired of talking about it after a while, and it reached its climax in the episode Cringe Dump, and that was like the last one I did talking about this, because I kind of forgot to keep checking afterwards. Except for, actually, episode number 6, which I recorded about 10 days ago, actually. I'm recording this on the 30th, by the way. And I recorded that on the 20th. So that's 10 days ago. I actually checked Fake Disorder Cringe and System Cringe for any new posts in relation to this. I looked a little bit and I couldn't find anything, so... Oh, well, I forgot to mention that in that episode. Yeah. Actually, episode number 6 does kind of throw a wrench in this whole thing, because that one is so recent. Compared to when I stopped playing this was like June 2nd. I want to say June 3rd, but I just looked at the save files today, and there was nothing. It didn't say it saved on June 3rd. I want to say June 3rd, though. It was either the 2nd or the 3rd. The reason I looked at the save files just today is because I started a new one to record something that I made just today. I'll get to that video later, though. Quite a bit later, because this is like last year, man. So, yeah, that was... What was I talking about? Yeah, Fake Disorder Cringe. It's interesting. I expected to find a lot more posts claiming to be Vanny than anything else. I found like two, and that does not compute with me. Like, hey, we have big bad, main character villain status, right? Like that feels like the perfect like counterculture. It's not just a phase ma sort of thing. Only 2? That doesn't make any sense. Most I found were Freddy and the Sun guy, by far, and I've then been thinking as to why is the Sun, and it's just like, quirky sort of people. It's like, oh, I'm quirky too, sort of. It's dumb. It's dumb. Now, a thing I did in some of the earlier episodes was I tried to blot out people's faces. I kind of stopped doing that later on. Now, if you had, like, there's one with face paint, I kind of keep that one because, like, the entire point. The reason I did that originally because I didn't want to be the person upload a video with someone in it and like that person would easily be identifiable because someone watched my video and they could point and laugh and say, hey, you're a freaking idiot. I don't want to be that kind of person. I then realized the chance of that happening is like statistically non-existent. I didn't need to worry about that. Now, maybe it's the thought that counts. Never mind the fact that I stopped doing it. But it was, it was something. I was trying to be nice, I guess. It was kind of stupid later on. I feel like there's more things I could mention about this. Like, maybe my opinion on the game. I feel like I'm missing stuff. This shouldn't be this quick. My opinion on the game. Oh yeah, that does make me think. last couple episodes, minus the extra episodes because those are after I finish the game. Anything after that, just I don't think really counts. I mentioned the series being like, good for me, kind of, I did it was some relative numbers at the time, and I shouldn't have talked about that. That was stupid. That's the kind of very thing I specifically try not to talk about. I talked about it there. I shouldn't have said that. It's just, I think it's kind of dumb, and it dates it. I don't like doing that. My opinion on the game, though, about the same, depending on how you want to look at it. It's, I think it's average, but it's shifted to painfully average, because since then I've learned a lot about the game, and I've done a lot of thinking about it, and the game's got problems. It's got a lot of problems. A lot of problems. I mentioned in extra episode number 6, right? I had sent an email on the 17th to Steel Wool. I still haven't gotten a response from them yet. I still haven't. I'm waiting. I'm still good. I'm still waiting. Anyway, I think that is about everything I have to say about that. It's too many episodes. There were some fun moments. And 40, the only one I was actually scared, because I was afraid of losing progress. That was the only reason I was scared. And then I died and had the greatest, or the best reaction to getting jump scared in the entire thing. Most of the time I was just didn't care, or I was just getting angry. But I was actually like, oh! Like, I shouldn't recreate it here, that's dumb. And whatever, but it's fun looking back at that. Not fun replaying it. The episode after that I was getting really tired because there wasn't a save point that I could save at to do it, and I spent a long time getting back to it. Because the dumb puzzle beforehand, I was afraid of losing progress on. But anyway, I suppose I should probably stop talking about that and have plenty more time afterwards. Spent too many minutes on this. Next is Video Analytics, the first video of this year. It's a meme video based off of Part 14, and I remember that. That video, Part 14, entitled "She is So Hot," or some kind of pronunciation of that. Maybe putting that as the title and having that copy pasta be the description wasn't a good idea because it's garnered some strange attention. One day, I was looking at the analytics for that video because it's my channel, it's my videos, I can do what I want, and I looked at, was it the Google search or the YouTube search? I forget what it is. One of those two things. I looked down, and I saw that someone had looked up this thing, it was one thing, on YouTube, and it got my video recommended to them. Now, in the video, I think it's the bottom of the 3, if I remember correctly. I looked at that, I was like, oh, okay. That was Cursed with Knowledge. I think a day or two later or something, I went back and looked at it again to Marvel, and lo and behold, it multiplied, and there was now 3 of them. Now, I think at that moment, if I remember correctly, I had an idea to make this into like some kind of meme video, or maybe it was beforehand, I can't remember. I think I'm going to burp, actually. Excuse me. And I think like the day after I saw it being 3, I went back and looked at it again. I was like, yep, I'm going to make this video. And Video Analytics has the distinction of probably being the single most accurate depiction of something I saw in my head to, video, out of all my videos thus far. There was one thing I did add to it, which isn't a bad thing. I think it was trolls. I need something in that corner, so I put in trolls, and it worked pretty well. So yeah, that's where Video Analytics came from. And oh yeah, I did have a problem making the video. I had to screen record the footage on YouTube because, whatever. I mean, I guess I didn't have to screen record it, but I did. And when I went to put it in my editing program, the footage was really fuzzy. I didn't know why it was fuzzy. It was just really fuzzy. And I went back and recorded it again at a higher resolution, put that in there, and it was just as fuzzy. It was exactly the same thing, so I just went out and tossed the higher resolution one because there was like no difference. I mean, okay, I've regretted it pretty soon afterwards. After making the video, at least, that I should have used a high-resolution one anyway. Because they look exactly the same. Just go with the first one. And I just kind of had to hold out for the hope that it will look fine on YouTube, and for some reason, it looks fine on YouTube. I don't know why. Now, I have had the idea to make a Video Analytics 2. Never really bothered to, because I kind of wanted to wait until all the weird YouTube search things, filled down, they probably would stop. And trust me, there's more than just the 3 in this video. It has since been multiplied. Maybe 8, 10, I don't know what the number is, but there's more. Trust me, maybe video analysis can happen one day. I know what I want to do with it. I just haven't bothered to make it. Classic, I'm lazy. Next is something I really tried to avoid doing, but I did in this case. I unlisted and then later privated 2 videos off of my channel, because I'm a big believer in the Streisand effect. If you don't know what the Streisand effect is, you definitely know what it's done. So remember in like 2018, when people found out that Winnie the Pooh was banned in China, and started making all those like Zinnie the Pooh jokes? That's the Streisand effect. Like when you try to move something to the public eye, it becomes more infamous and more well-known. And you know, it's the opposite of what you want it to be. So that's, I believe in that, you know, kind of wholeheartedly, okay, not wholeheartedly, but I believe in the Streisand effect, which is why I always think that if I upload a video to YouTube, it's locked there, it stays there. But in this case, I figured it probably doesn't really matter all that much, so I took these videos off, and I don't regret it. So let's not talk about this any more than I have to. But maybe if I had to remove one more video off my channel, I think I know what it would be. It would be Milkipliers are going to beat you to death. I don't like that video. Screw it. Screw it. After the video's done, after I'm done recording this, that video is getting unlisted. So goodbye, Milkipliers are going to beat you to death. Actually, privated. That's different. After I privated the videos, I actually went back and looked at them again, and it did get views. So a couple of views, I privated them. Next, actually there was like a 3-month gap in uploading I had for a while, because let's just boil it down to, my stomach, and I got really sick. And went for a long time. And I think, honestly, in some ways, I still kind of have it, on occasion. But anyway, so I explained this in, like, part 27 of my playthrough on the game, what happened. But let's just, stomach issues, let's leave it there. But after that, is like a huge gap from January to June. We have a, FNAF Security Breach review. Now, this was the first scripted video I had made in a long time, because I was already working on another one, and I think I finished playing about a week before I wanted to upload. I swear, thinking about it, I was trying to get it upload on the second Tuesday in June, not Friday, which I normally go for the first and third Tuesdays in months. I was going for the second in this case. Yeah, I was doing that for a while. But anyway, I had a week till I wanted to make the video, and that video is crap. I don't like that video. It's bad. Okay, maybe not bad, but it's very poor quality, depending on how you want to look at it. Let's discuss that. I want you to know that I don't like this video very much. It has a lot of problems. Is there merit to it? Probably. But there's a lot of problems. So let's explain those problems. In the 3 fundamental areas of this video, writing the script, recording the dialogue, and editing the video, there's problems. The writing was... I explained too much verbally. I didn't do enough stuff visually. Now, if I'm writing a video, I'm thinking in my head, like, what can I put on screen here, in this case, and if I can't think of anything, I leave it to myself when I'm editing, and that's usually a bad idea because, well, you know, 95 times out of 100, I can't think of anything new. So it doesn't really work out very well. And that was a problem. I left too much stuff to explain, you know, with my voice and not on screen. I didn't have enough stuff I could show you. It was just straight game footage. Now, the recording, that was the worst part, single worst part of this video. There's good days for it, there's bad days for it. And I recorded most of this video on a bad day. It was over the course of 2 different days. And it took me so many tries for so many different lines. And the ones you get in the video are legitimately the best ones I had, pretty sure. You gotta understand, if I'm listening to this thing, you know, 20 times, the same line 20 times, I find this one, oh, this one's pretty good. Listen to it out of the context of the previous 19 attempts, or 20 attempts or whatever, and all of a sudden this sounds really bad. I'm talking too fast, you can't understand what I'm saying, and at that point, I wasn't going to go back and, you know, re-record it, because that's a lot of work, and that's another time frame, and if I wasn't under a time crunch or a deadline, I wouldn't have done it anyway, to be honest. But it was just not good, and the day after it was better, but it wasn't perfect. So when it came to editing, I tried to provide captions where I felt they were the biggest problems. And the editing, I don't think I was inherently, but like, I don't think the editing was worse. It was just boring. I didn't have anything to put on screen. That's the thing. I didn't know what to show you. The stuff that was on screen was, most of the stuff was stuff I thought when I was writing the video. Except for like the part on the screen where I talk about the 2 separate times I've been soft locked. I came with that with editing because I was desperate for something to put on screen. And I just realized I forgot something. Okay, I can get it later. But anyway, not something to mention. Something for later. But I just didn't know what to put on screen. Now there was something I did with this video that is a good thing. I was watching YouTube videos previously, and I noticed that the background footage in that video changed a lot. So if I did the same thing here, yeah, so you're still watching, game footage, but at least the game footage changes every, 10, 20, or 15 seconds or something like that. Otherwise, it would have been like the same piece of footage for like the entire category, most of the time. So it's a good thing I did that. That probably does alleviate some of the problems, but it still doesn't mean there's anything interesting to look at. So video has a lot of problems. So anyway, let's discuss the creation of the video. I knew almost instantly after thinking about making a review on this game that I wanted it to be like this, and I accidentally noticed sometime later that the beginning of the video was very similar to the beginning of my Mario Galaxy review. Whoops, accident. Great minds think alike, I suppose. It's not exactly the same, but it's very, very similar. So, but the concept, that's what I wanted. The beginning, the end, I knew how that would go, and all that kind of stuff, and probably things like finding the categories, because I couldn't use single-player multiplayer, that I knew I wanted. And when it finally came time for me to write all this stuff down, well, I did it. I used it. I'm not saying this in a very good way. I'm not very satisfied with stuff I've been saying thus far. Maybe I should do a second take for this video as well. Okay, yeah, I knew how I wanted to do this. So let's move to the end of the video. So, beginning and the end, like I mentioned, I knew how I wanted those to work, and I was, writing up the last paragraph for the script there, and I was thinking to myself, or the paragraph before the end, I was thinking to myself, yeah, I get to do this, finally get to do this, finally get to put this into words, and basically, as soon as I hit those last keys, hit enter, hit tab if I needed to, I didn't like the idea anymore. I didn't like it. I was thinking, man, this seems like it's gonna be cringe. Because, the entire ending of the video is a joke. The video itself, by and large, is a joke saying that I'm possessed. I don't mean that, but it's like a self-referential joke. It's not self-referential, but it's a funny reference, as I like to call it. And the comedy I felt of the ending of the video, at least I have in my head, was there was a solemn delivery, there was a simple statement, just no, and then an overtop reaction. And that solemn delivery, that caused me the most problems, I didn't like that one, because that felt like it was going to be cringe. People could look at that and think, do I mean this? Am I being serious here? And I'm not being serious. I wanted to try my best to frame this as I was being sarcastic. This was a joke. It's a reference, not a mean or anything. But the solemnness of it felt like a problem, because I felt like it was going to be cringe. Yeah, but I didn't feel like I had time to, and even really care to try and think about anything new in the moment, so I just kind of somewhat begrudgingly, just kind of wrote out my idea and all that stuff. But I did add to it. I'm a sucker for good reference sometimes, and I added some references, not just some references, but a reference to the ending of the video. Now, I will admit, I changed the ending of the video sometimes, so the one I'm talking about here was not one I used in the video. So I knew what I wanted to reference, because I felt like it would work, but I couldn't remember what the specific, thing I wanted to reference was. I knew what it was, yes, but I couldn't remember specifically what it said. I wanted to reference some dialogue. So I had to go with the wiki. I hate the wiki. I hate that place. I hate the wiki. It is such a pure, unbridled concentration of information being streamed directly into my eye holes. I can't take it. It makes me angry. It fills my blood with venom, and I can't be there for any longer than 10, 15, 20 minutes before I have to get up and start doing something else that just isn't looking at the wiki. I don't know what it's gonna be like if I sit there for too long, but it'd be painful, I can tell you that. So there was one time I had to get up and like start doing something else because I was on the wiki for too long. But I was looking around trying to find what it was, using a series of links to try and get to the page I felt like it would be at. And the thing about that wiki is they don't link things all that often, so it's kind of hard to get around just through that method. But eventually, this is a fandom wiki, and I realized I could scroll down, find some stuff at the bottom, and one of the recommended pages at the bottom is the exact page I'm looking for. It was just that easy. Whoops. So I found the dialogue, and I burst into a fight it. Remember, I love syllables and all that, and words and stuff like that. I made it sarcastic, essentially what it was. It's kind of a sarcastic reference. And I put it in the video, and I wasn't, I wrote what I wanted to write in, the more original idea, and I told myself I'd think about it in the morning, because it was kind of late at night. I went to bed, got up in the morning, thought about it, and I didn't like it anymore. So I still have the text for the original ending, and I can display it on screen right now. So you can go ahead and look it over, look at it, right? So you might notice that there's kind of two parts to it. There's like the first part and there's the second part, and that was one of the reasons why I got rid of it, because it just felt kind of tacked on, and kind of because it was cringe. But if you can't tell what the reference is, allow me to tell you. So I said this before. I think it was referencing the sponsored episode, Midlife Crustacean, Bring It Back Nickelodeon, I Hate You. Specifically where you SpongeBob Patrick, the Krusty Krab, and it's like, are you ready to go crazy? I'm already hearing voices! You know what I'm talking about? Okay, how about this? I have a pen, I have a pineapple, Is that how it goes? I never watched that video, actually, and I bet you never expected to hear that reference today. I'm specifically referencing here the dialogue, the hearing voices you get when in the VR game when you take the mask and you take the plushie, you put them together and, magic happens. I'm referencing that dialogue. But as I mentioned, I cut it. Just didn't really look all that good. Didn't really seem to feel all that good to me. So I went ahead and rewrote it and printed off my script, but I never saved the change to the Word document. The reason? Right here, right now, so I can talk about it right here and I can prove it to you. I still have the text. Anyway, I printed it off. I recorded all the dialogue, for better or worse, and I went to editing the video. And when I got to getting close to the end of the video, I began thinking to myself again about the ending of the video and how much I really wasn't liking that either. That one also felt kind of cringe. Now, the rewrite was more accurate to my original idea. And so yeah, it was more accurate to my original idea. But it just also felt kind of cringe. It was that solemn delivery. So on the same day I uploaded the video, I decided to rewrite the video's ending. Now, I still have the recordings for the this original ending, and if you might have noticed in the original text, there is some italics. The no over there is italics, and the reason that is because it was to remind myself that I want to do that in a funny haha voice. I wanted to do a kind of a deathly wheeze of an impression of some kind of deathly wheeze of a British voice, if you know what I mean. Now, I don't do a British accent very well, but if there was a silver lining to that, if in fact I have to say no. All that I had to say was just no. I could do that pretty fine, like no, something like that. Okay, that wasn't great, but it's alright, ish. But I also kind of do like in a, death wormed over pure evil kind of sounding voice, something like that. And, maybe I could do that. I'm not going to do it here, but maybe I could do that. But at the same time, I don't really know. So I might have decided to pitch myself down, which I did in the final video. I know I recorded myself doing like the full impression, and listen to that. I think that's when I decided to, just do like to pitch myself down. So I can't remember if that's if the recording here is the full impression or the one I plan on pitching myself down on or not. I can't remember, but either way, I'm gonna have to go get something here. So go ahead and listen to that while I'm going to go get something. All right, see you in a second. That was awful. That was just plain awful. but I'm glad it's over with. I just don't think I can do this anymore. Well, listen, you've occupied my brain for so long, and I think I've done good, and I don't think I've done anything terribly unreasonable. I just want to be free. I just want to live my life. I just want to live my life the way I want to. Please, please, just let me go. I don't want to do this anymore. No. Oh, come on! Alright, so like I mentioned, on the same day I uploaded the video, I tried to change the ending, so I got out a piece of paper, old-fashioned, old-school way, and wrote out a new ending. So this third ending, I kind of just grabbed halfway through writing it, just kind of half-heartedly finished it, and I just kind of left it there. So I have the paper here, that's what I need to go get, I forgot to get that, and I'm going to read it off and see if I can remember how it was supposed to be read off. So, probably something like this. That was awful. Just plain awful. But at least I'm done with it. Yep. Now I'm free. Free to do whatever I want. Yep. I'm free. Absolutely free. Okay, I hope you could hear that, but yeah, kind of cringe. Now, the thing is, I wanted to remove that solemn delivery, and this wasn't... Now that I think about this, or at least reading it that way, it's not much better. But like I said, I kind of just finished writing it halfway through, just, again, just half-heartedly finished it. Didn't really intend to use that, not very long. So I went ahead and rewrote it, using the same idea, the same concept that I had originally, leaving the fourth ending, and that's what I went with. So I'm not going to bother reading it here. Gonna have to go put that paper back. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. So yeah, this video, a couple endings, whatever, yeah. So let's move on to the next one. This takes a long time, ooh boy. I don't remember why I make this, oh yeah, these 2 days, in 2 days span, I uploaded 3 videos related to this, and it was a good day to be a Burrhead 2 fan for liking my content, this kind of stuff. Next is Gregory Evades the IRS. I can't remember why I made this video, but I can talk about that later. So, as seen in this video's description, this is actually intended to be part of my, FNAF security breach available video. We'll get into that next. I kind of arbitrarily decided to upload this one first. It really didn't matter. But I put specifically this video in there. It was, like, the idea of doing this originally was kind of part of that. And I had seen the source videos, I later edited the description to put in the source video, which was Mario Evades the IRS. And I can't remember why I decided to change the characters. I can't remember. It's probably just like something that came to my head. It's like, oh, what if I did that? I think this is kind of funny. I do remember why I put it in the video, though. It was between the, no, don't pull, and, I like this. This is cute. But from the very beginning, I kept this video specifically in a different file. Because I wasn't sure, again, from the very beginning, whether or not I wanted to upload this video separately or with the other one. And I kind of thought myself, for the longest time, that I probably was going to upload it separately, but I didn't do it. For like 2 reasons. One, I wasn't like hard set, I didn't like truly decide on uploading it separately, I was just kind of leaning more that direction, and 2, I might change my mind. So I only uploaded it separately when I finished the bearable video, as I like to call it. So that's the history, I guess, behind the creation of it, but let's talk about the development of the video. I'm getting kind of hoarse. There's 2 different parts. There's the audio, there's the visual. Let's talk about the visual first, I guess. Yeah, I had 2 tabs open on Google, going through 2 different tabs for these for Gregory, for Vanessa, looking at images. Because I tried to source as many as I could from the game. The problem was you couldn't really find. I was like halfway through the game at that point, till halfway like to the first ending I got, so I didn't have that many images of either of them. Got all of the Vanessa ones I could probably ever get, but the Gregory ones, yeah, I got nothing. I was able to get all of my Roxanne Wolf ones from the video, though. The videos, though. That's fun. I can't believe I'm saying that still. Yeah, old habits die hard. If you don't know, for some reason I went a longest time never saying the character names or like names of this franchise by and large, and yeah, it's a long story. I talked about it in extra episode number 1, a more dramatic retelling of that story, but it tells you about everything you know up to that point. Sure, it's a bit outdated at this point, but that's for another time, I guess. That's a detour. I didn't want to go on that detour. Anyway, so like I had to find it. I was going through Google, man. Beggars can't be choosers, but I was doing both. I wanted to find an image that made sense in the context of this video, and I couldn't find that. And it was somewhere between like an hour and a half to 2 hours. I was looking through those 2 tabs, and by the time I just got fed up and finished, it was past midnight. I was just like, you know, I'm gonna put in repeat images where the original video does not do it, and I could do that in the morning. So I went to bed. And yeah, in the morning I was still too fed up to go about looking again, and I reused some images, reused some images where the original video does not. So let's talk about the audio here. I had to find some text-to-speech voices, like maybe I could have done the voices. Haha, no. But I had to find some text-to-speech. I found uberduck.ai. Now I was on uberduck.ai once before, actually. I think for the But More Bearable video, because I was working on that one for much longer than this one, because I did use some text-to-speech voices in that one, and I managed to find myself an uberduck for that video, or for the thing I was trying to make then. But I wasn't too sure if they were gonna have voices I'm looking for, because like they have a bunch of voices, and it's all broken down to like the source. Like let's say like SpongeBob, like there's a SpongeBob category, and like there's the voice under that category, and there's very obviously voices from this franchise. I didn't know if they would have the 3 voices that I wanted, or just like 3 voices in general from this game. Now, ideally, in the place of Mario, I would have had Gregory. In the place of Luigi, I was gonna have Freddy, and in the place of Wario, I wanted to have Chica. I did not get 2 of those 3. Now, the one I wanted the most, Gregory, they did have him. They did have him, and if I had to choose one, yes, that was the one I wanted. The other 2 were Roxanne Wolf and Vanessa. And my initial testing, I swapped the 2 voices. They were, like, Roxanne took the place of Luigi, and, you know, vice versa. But I switched that because I didn't like her text-to-speech voice very much. To be honest, it sounded kind of drunk. Like, the speed at which it was speaking. It was a very slow speed, and I could tell where they seemed to have gotten the source audio from that. It was, you know, in the game, when you walk into the racetrack for the first time, you get that little speech from her, and it was at the exact same speed. At that exact same speed, the text-to-speech voice talked. Like, it's so slow. It was so slow. I mean, the original line, okay, cool, I can live with that, but like the text-to-speech voice, man, no, that's just too freaking slow. In the video, I sped it up by 1.3 times, just to make it sound more normal. But yeah, I think there were some problems with the text-to-speech voice. A little bit of finessing, but I got it to work eventually. So that's something. Then, I think there's anything I have to mention for that. Oh yeah, I did try with the Roxanne Wolf voice, Mamma Mia. I did put that in there. It didn't sound right, so I cut it. And I did so. Speaking of which, I did do some rewriting for the video because I can't have Gregory saying "I step on the Goomba." It doesn't make any sense. I did rewrite one thing. When he starts listing off 3 options of what he does, I think what I originally wrote for that one was the 3rd option was I crawl through vents. I wrote it to I go go-karting. That one, the original one didn't sound very right to me, so I changed it. It sounded kind of awkward, kind of cringe. This entire thing was cringe though, so whatever. I mean, I've been doing this for like 40 minutes, and I haven't gotten that many things done yet. Oh boy, this is gonna be a long video. So next would be But More Bearable. This is a long, weird video. It's a devious little meme compilation of my own design. I did have this described to me once though as my playthrough but with memes, not as a meme compilation. And you know, I think that is a more accurate depiction, or description. He was right. Anyway, so the idea for this video, I had sometimes prior. I just never bothered to do anything with it, and one day I got it, and it's like, you know, I'll make it. And when I first started making this, it was a little bit different. It was like still the same thing, but it was formatted slightly different. I did like 3 memes, or basically whatever, however many I wanted, like in order of like first episode, second episode, you know, chronological order, and then have like a couple more, about maybe 3, that were just from random episodes, didn't sound right, and, you know, repeat ad nauseum, or ad infinitum, or till the end. The day after, I went back and decided to have everything just be in chronological order, because I didn't want to meet myself in the middle. I just want to keep going. So I moved everything around. So like, there were some memes that are kind of further in the video that I made on the first day. The Super Mario 64 one, that was one I made on the first day. And that one's like probably the furthest one in the video. Ooh, what should I mention next? Oh yeah, maybe some memes I try to put into the video. One thing I did do first, an idea I had, was ruler of everything, actually. Now, I had an idea of, like, making a rule of everything meme off of this game, I think maybe even before the idea for this video ever came first. Or, like, that rule of everything was first, this video was second. And I tried to put in, like, sections of the song, just like little lines, like, do you like how I dance, for example, and I, you know, caption it like I would normally, like it was any average rule of everything meme, and I put a clip from the game behind it that fit. Was it funny? No. Was it a meme? Yeah. But I eventually cut that because I was using, like, copyrighted music in the video, and I was afraid that YouTube was going to be like, oh, copyrighted music! Yep, we found it, and I didn't want to bother doing that. To be honest, I fully expected to have to do a bunch of trial and error with that video, and, like, upload it, you know, keep it private initially, you know, have YouTube look it through, see if they find any, you know, thing to, you know, content ID, and I'm gonna burp again. Excuse me. Go back, delete the video, remove the stuff that, you know, they found, go back, re-upload it, have a look through it again, and just do that process eternally. And I expected to be uploading, like, a sequel of that video the exact same day that had all of my copyrighted music eggs in one basket. And maybe a couple other ones. Like, a couple other things. I know there's one meme in the video that I had made with express purpose to put in that sequel, or just put in the video anyway. Like, if I need to make a sequel, I can cut that one for the video, whatever. But to my delight, YouTube found nothing. They found nothing. Now, maybe it's because I removed rule of everything from the meme or video, except for one thing. One thing in there that is rule of everything. I kept it in. I didn't really count it as a rule of everything. It kind of was, actually. There's one, like, 2/3 of a second long meme in there that is rule of everything, but I didn't really matter. You think YouTube's gonna find a 2/3 section of a 2/3 section of a song? Hope not. So on the subject of that, though, rule of everything, that's another story. That's another story. And one scene I tried to meme 2 different ways I could think of was this scene you're probably looking at right now. My first idea was to use "Hi, welcome to Chili's." Now, there were some memes I got right off the bat. You know, I downloaded, like the Arabic Nokia ringtone. That one took a while to appear in the video because I want to find something that was, like, slowly spinning. I never got that, so I found this thing that, okay, it's probably the closest I'm ever going to find to this working, so I'm just going to put this in there. And "Hi, welcome to Chili's" were ones I had problems with, especially "Hi, welcome to Chili's." And that one appeared like a minute 15 in the video, so that is actually kind of a decentish ways. I was trying some different things, but I remember trying to use this scene specifically, and having to, the motion tracker over her, you know, have the video attached to the motion tracker. I could never get the motion tracker to work. At best, at absolute best, it followed her for just a second and got pinned, stuck on the light in the background. The contrast was just, it's just, the game's too dark, and that's probably the only time in history you're gonna hear someone say that. Another thing I tried was to use a voice clip of the spy from Team Fortress 2, where he says, "Your deadly skill is jogging, mine is murdering people." And try to get that, like, to kind of fade in as she walks on screen to kind of give the essence of, like, I don't know, she's saying that or something. It didn't work very well, I cut it. Now, another one I tried to do was, I don't remember what the episode was, but I was in the basement with the endoskeletons, and I pressed the button, like the last button to open the door, and I walk into the intersection between the door in front of you and the door to the right, and then it goes into the room with all of the endoskeletons on the hooks and the security badge. And I look at the door in front of me, and I see it's pitch black, and I think, oh, they both opened! And I would have paused it, like, right after saying whatever I said there, and have, like, the, engineer from Team Fortress 2, Kazatsky Kicker, I pronounced that, green screen kind of, like, fade in, like it's coming from the darkness. It didn't work very well. I cut that. There were other ones. I can't remember what they were, though. Now, I did have a philosophy in making this video, that I was not going to meme myself. I was not going to poke fun of myself. I was strictly, making memes about the game and things that happen in the game, not the things I'm doing in the game. There was one exception to that rule, though, maybe 1.5. The one exception is the one with the neuron activation. I kind of just made that one on autopilot, and I looked at it after I made it, and I was like, oh, I just meme myself. That's funny, I'll keep it. At that point, I was kind of going more for quantity over quality. Like, originally I was going for more quality, but after a while I reached the point where I was, oh, there's a lot of memes in here. I should keep going. I want to make as many memes as possible. And I reached 20 minutes, 20 seconds of, like, a bunch of dumb, stupid memes. Sure, they're dumb and stupid, and it's, like, purely my humor. Like, there were things that I understood were funny, that I thought people might think are funny. Yeah, but, like, that's the one thing I mean myself. The other one was, kind of consider it, meaning myself, was the one with the Flying Dutchman and, like, the howling. And I, after all of that stuff, I replaced it with the Monty growling, and then after that, like, as impression in the episode itself, I'd, like, do the same thing. Kind of like poking fun at it. And I kept that in because, well, it's just more the same thing. Keep on going, I guess. You can kind of consider that memeing myself. I really didn't, though. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the running jokes here. I've got, like, 3. One of them is, I don't like Roxanne Wolf. Now, that's a joke I had in the playthrough, and I wasn't aiming very much to use this one because I felt it might get kind of annoying. Now, you don't have to agree with me on that one. I'm just saying. Now, if there was a good opportunity and it presented itself, I'd use it. And there's one section, like, in the middle of the video with, like, her death sequence, all that stuff. That's a big, joke right there about it. But besides that, like, the whole revival thing, I really didn't do very much. It makes me think I forgot to mention the fact that almost all the memes in this video are in chronological order from my start of the Let's Play to my end of the Let's Play. In case you're wondering. I forgot to mention, working on all that stuff, man, because there was a point, I hadn't finished, doing the Let's Play yet. I was still, like, I want to say, like, mid-teens at that point. I remember being the bowling alley as being one of the last ones I did before I had to start, recording new episodes to put in the video. At that point, I had run out of my, backlog. So, after I recorded the episodes, I edit them for YouTube when I go back and put them in this video. That's how it worked. In case you're wondering. Anyway, back to the running jokes. I didn't do that one very much. Another one. Let's save that one for last. Crusher. That one's quite frequent. Sorry. That, man, I struck a comedy goldmine with that one. I eventually ran out of ideas, but that one just felt so easily memeable. Like, got a funny sound effect, right? Team Fortress 2 Scout bonk, Taco Bell bong, Vine boom fart reverb. You put that over the Crusher, you got yourself a meme. And there were some, more complex ones, like the Michael Rosen, like, nice, and the Phil Swift, that's a lot of damage, that kind of stuff. The we have technology. I consider that one a Crusher joke, by the way. A lot of SpongeBob jokes in this one. That's funny, right? The last one in the video, one with the Heavy is Dead. I always saw that one as being like the last Crusher joke because at that point I made the joke so many times I was being self-referential of saying, hey, it's another Crusher joke, right? I think that's inevitable at some point in which if I keep making the same joke over and over, I'm probably gonna start like joking about making the same joke over and over. And I did. Now, I want to put one more in after that, because I was kind of thinking of it. I just want to put it in the video, but I forgot to put one more in after that. So it does serve its actual purpose of being the last Crusher joke, unfortunately and unintendedly. I mean, not unfortunately, but unintended. And the last recurring joke, this one doesn't happen very often, but the joke is, and I don't want to say it's me, I want to say it's the video, that the video thinks that Vanny is hot. Now, you're probably saying, Burrhead 2, didn't you? You're the one who made the video say that. Okay, yeah, you're right. But I want to say, right here, right now, that I do not think that, alright? I do not think that, and the more I say that, the more you're not going to believe me. But I'm stating, for the record, for the court, I do not think that Vanny is hot. Alright? Just leave it there. Now, I had thought of that idea sometime prior. I mean, I originally went against it because I just didn't really like it. Back then, I was going to focus the attention more on Vanessa. The reason I changed it to Vanny, because I felt more people would understand that way. I don't know, that's just what I thought. The reason, though, I actually did do it because the one I thought was pretty funny. It was based off of the SpongeBob movie, you know, like, she's pretty, SpongeBob. It just seemed funny, and it just worked too well, you know, put it in there. And the reason that meme specifically starts with a fade-in of the clip from the movies, because it was extended a little bit farther out. It waited a little bit for the movie clip to start, and it would fade in, obviously, instead of just, like, appearing out of nowhere. Because the game clip was muted, it was just kind of a couple seconds of silence, so I cut it down to just the movie clip when it started. And I never bothered to make the video have the movie clip not fade in. And I knew that. I knew that the entire time I could very easily go over to that point and make it not fade in very easily, and just didn't do it. Because it's funny. Right? It's something to talk about here, I guess. But yeah. The last one in the video, that one, I knew that one was the last one. I knew that one had to be the last one. It just felt very final to me. You know, whatever. And I think that's about all I have to say about that video. It's kind of bad. I like it at the time. I do think going back to that video and watching it, I still think it's funny. It's just, it is kind of cringe. It is absolutely kind of like a bunch of, kind of low effort humor in some ways. There are some good ones, like the text-speech voice, yeah, I used for that one was the one where I joke about, like, steel wool, I guess? You know, like the fast text-speech voice. I accidentally used the text-speech voices that the game uses for the staff bots. Accidentally, cool, I guess. Whatever. I guess I should probably stop talking about that. I have, this is taking forever. Next is Pikmin is the Ruler of Everything 2. Now, I actually already had captions for the complete demos version of Ruler of Everything on hand. Talk about that later. So the reason I did a Pikmin Ruler of Everything 2 is the Ruler of Everything 2 because I wanted to. Yep, that's why. I think I had a history of thinking about that idea beforehand, and I think I'm gonna burp a third time. Excuse me. And like, where's like a Pikmin is a Ruler of Everything 1.5 or something like that. Like not too long after I found out about the complete demos version, I kind of maybe had an idea of like, if we were to like do a Pikmin is a Ruler of Everything 2, I would like also include in that video like the demo exclusive verse, like that specifically. But I never did that. Obviously. So I just wanted to make Pikmin Ruler of Everything 2 because, I don't know, why not? Now, I specifically wanted to upload this video on the 1-year anniversary of the original video. And I thought that was early June, but it's actually late June, so I got a couple extra weeks after looking at that. And I started 5 days early working on that video. I wanted to make sure I was going to be ready for the anniversary, and I was, you know, afraid that would take me a lot of time to find all the footage for it. And actually that was true. It was kind of hard. The second day I worked on it, though, I filled it in. It took me 2 days to fill in the entire thing. Now, I did end up reusing some footage from the original, not from the original video, but like the same background footage. from the first one, and I didn't want to do that. That was an accident. And I do think that the original video does have the better footage, but this one has the better captions. It's overall a higher effort video. And I like it. Why wouldn't I? I like Ruler Everything. I like that song. Next is FNAF Slander. I don't remember. That's why I made it. So in the I upload these videos on the exact same day, but if you remember, as I just said, I finished Pikmin's Ruler Everything early. So I set it to upload on the 1-year anniversary, so I had like 3 days left to make another video. And I had like an idea in my mind to do like a slander meme about this franchise. Because, you know, it was kind of hot at the time, I guess. I mean, it was kind of dying down at that point, I think. But, oh man, the slander meme lived for a lot longer than I ever thought I was going to, but I'm getting off track here. I remember thinking about this video, and I got on YouTube, just, you know, to see if anything new was there. I got new notifications or something, and I started recommending to me, like, the greatest freakout video. And I knew right there, I needed to make this video, because that was the first one I wanted in my video. That was the first meme I needed to have in my video, using that footage, and I knew right there that I had to make this video. So I did. Now, I can't remember much about actually making it, but I do know it was way too much of just, like, fans of X game doing X. Or Y, rather. They're not doing the same thing. You know, the fans of, like, the first game aren't going to be doing the first game. It doesn't make any sense. But it was way too much of that, but that was just my mind frame at the time. That was just the way I was thinking, except for one in the video. It was like that, and I don't know why I was thinking like that. I might have accidentally got caught in, like, the old-fashioned fans explaining meme. That's where some of these things came from. I accidentally unlocked some ideas. I was thinking about the stuff in this video later and realized, oh yeah, I thought about that a long time prior. Like the one with the FNAF World fans sitting at the McDonald's cashier, waiting for them to change. That was an old one. Also a funny one. But yeah, I was left pretty satisfied after that video. Like, I couldn't think of really anything more to add to it. Man, I'm getting hoarse. Anyway, after that would come... Oh boy. Oh boy. Pikmin 2 pre-release and unused content part 1, the pre-release. I have a story to tell you. 2 weeks after I finished ranking every Super Mario Party minigame, yes, that video, I started working on Pikmin 2 pre-release unused content. Worked on it for a long time. Now, during that 3-month gap of not uploading, I didn't work on it in that time frame at all, because I just didn't really feel like it, which is kind of a recurring thing with Pikmin 2 pre-release unused content, like in general. But after I finished my review on the game, I kind of tried to kick myself into gear into finishing this video, because the review was like the exception to the rule of, you know, not making another video while I'm already making one. I tried to not do scripted videos, you know, in the process of making one, but I had already recorded all the dialogue for Pikmin 2 Please Unused Content, so it really didn't matter all that much. And maybe I should have waited for the Button Barrel video to be the next designated upload. I had thought about that, and I didn't do it. Maybe I should have. Maybe it was a good thing I didn't, because that meant inevitable, there we go, said a lot better there, would have happened sooner. Might just be best to get that out of the way. As I explained in the beginning of this video specifically, part 1, the pre-release, sorry, that the original video, the original Pikmin 2 pre-release unused content, that video died. It exploded. I was editing the video on the exact same day, the video hit 3 hours in length. It was about 3 hours and 1 minute. My editing program was getting really laggy, as it tended to do with this ginormous video, and I saved it because, you know, I could tell it was going to crash pretty soon. and in the time frame of the progress bar appearing on screen and going away, because it had gotten to 100% and disappeared, and between me getting control of the program again, which took like maybe 10 to 20 seconds, because that's how laggy it was, my program crashed. Now, it had crashed several times prior to making this video, but this one was different. It never crashed anywhere near saving it, and I know from my history of living that, you know, turning off a console while it's saving means you get corrupted data. You know, things always tell you not to turn off the thing while it's saving. And a crash, that's more or less the same thing. I was a little bit nervous, but I felt, you know, I'm probably just worrying about nothing, so I went in and opened up my editing program again. Went to go get the file. The file was gone. The file was gone. It wasn't where it normally was. Just gone completely. And I looked around a little bit. I mean, it's kind of fruitless. I mean, okay, it's not like this thing. It's always been this one file location is going to be like, I don't know, movies or like downloads for some reason. It just was gone. I couldn't find it. It wasn't in the recycling bin. The entire thing was just gone. And a couple days later, I brought the computer to a computer expert. Down and looked at the hard drive, and okay, let me tell you, that store was wacky. It looked like it came from a video game. I swear, it looked like it came from a video game. It was just like, you know, wood floor, kind of like, how do I say it? There's like a folding table with 3 magazines on it, like the kind of old magazines, kind of in that little fashion, that kind of fanned-out fashion. There's a little shelf over on the side there with, you know, a couple different items, you know, spaced, you know, oh so far apart that looked like it came from a video game, and a nice 45-degree angle. And there's a little desk, a little cashier's desk over on the other side, and that was it. There was nothing in that store except for that stuff, and there was stuff in the back, but like that area, it looked like it came from like an open world video game. I swear, but that guy took a while. And the longer he took, the more nervous I was getting. Eventually, came back, said he couldn't get the file back. The file was gone completely. Just gone. Blown to bits, smashed to smithereens. He says something about the file writing to a dead cell, which I don't know what that means, to be honest. I'm guessing something to do with, like, the file overwriting itself. Which, yeah, okay, that makes sense why it would crash and not be there, I suppose. But there wasn't anything anyone could do. Apparently, solid-state drives aren't good at repeatedly saving things. They're faster, but I guess for everything else, a hard drive is better. I'd spent, well, about 2 weeks, 14 and a half days at that point, editing that video. 14 and a half days. And all that work was for naught. Just gone. There wasn't a single thing I could do to get it back. Now, there was some stuff I had a lot of it. I had all the recordings, all the images, all like the video files and sound files I wanted to put in the video to my heart's content. What I didn't have, I mean, I have a script too, but like what I didn't have was I didn't have the thing that put it all together. I didn't have any of the text. Now, the majority of the text of the video, excuse me, I burped again, was copy and pasted, so I could go back and get all that stuff from the cutting room floor again, which was, it was just tedious to do all that stuff sometimes. In the original video, at least, but I had all the pieces to put it back together, but what was gone completely was the structure. Just like the structure of a building. There is nothing on it, just the frame. It just collapsed completely. All the pieces are fine. You can put it back together if you want to. But, you know, all those years just spent constructing that building, and the entire thing's on the ground now. And in that time, in that mindset, I tend to get really careless with anything I have remaining. If I've lost a bunch of stuff, I think to myself, well, might as well lose the rest of it. And that's why I restarted making the video from the ground up. Or started making started making the video from the ground up, and I restarted the video, I very could have easily just taken all the images, all the recordings, and put it back together. It would have taken me, probably, at most 2 weeks to do it. But instead, I chose to completely remake it because of that. Basically, that, and there were things I could have done to make the video better. It wasn't great. I knew that while editing it. So that's what happened to the original Pikmin 2 pre-release unused content. It's gone. It's dead. It went kablooey. So what about Pikmin 2 pre-release unused content Part 1, the pre-release, differentiating between the two? Because there's, Pikmin 2 pre-release unused content, and then there's the Part 1, Part 2s, Part 3s, and Part 2.5s, and all that kind of stuff. The Part 1s they're different. But, so, what about this first part here? Well, it took me a couple days to write it. Actually, fun fact, it took me about a month to write the script originally for the original video, and about a month to record it. So I threw out 2.5 months of work all in all. It took me just, maybe 5 days to write the script for the first part. It took me 2 days to edit it, because there was just a bunch of images. And I recorded all the dialogue in this video in 1 day. I think that's impressive, because there were times in which I was just like, okay, I think I can stop. But that's like a time I could keep going, and I kept going. I just recorded the entire script for that one. If I had finished Part 2 script at that point, I would have gone recording that one as well. But I hadn't finished it. And yeah, not really anything to mention about this video though. It just kind of happened, I guess. Now, the biggest difference between this video and the original video is that the kiosk demo was first in the original video, and I put the pre-release second. I did think while making the video that was kind of dumb why to do that, just didn't make much sense, so when I came to rewriting it, put the pre-release first, the kiosk demo second, because the kiosk demo is also pre-release. So, yeah, and the pre-release covers stuff that's earlier than the kiosk demo, so it just makes more sense that way. I don't know why I did it that way. I don't know. Next we have, let me tell you something. I'm a goner, right? I can't be helped. I wear a purple necktie all the time. I only drink tea. I only eat bananas. I laugh when I first see a scarecrow. I have forged my own zirconium thread and tailored my own pants out of that. I don't even sleep in a bed. I sleep in a cardboard box out back. Anyway, next is Rob Cantor is Thirsty, the Epic Tale. So this is in reference to Welcome to Tally Hall. I think it's kind of a joke in the community of when he says at the beginning of the song, "Can I get a tea?" He's not talking about the letter, but rather like the drink, and I just made my own version of that joke. Yeah. I had the idea of calling this the epic and well-edited tale while making it, because to kind of like poke fun at the low quality images I had, specifically of Rob himself. I got the image off of his YouTube account, so blame YouTube for compressing the images. But I had also the idea of either using a Wagey Wojak or Ross. I chose Ross. So yeah. I also had the idea of putting the good ending in nice impact font, over the, on screen, like at the very last scene there. I didn't do it. But after making this video, I immediately went into production of the sequel, Joe Hawley is Thirsty, the Epic Tale. It's basically the same thing, except Joe Hawley asks for a click, which is also Welcome to Tally Hall, and it gets shot. At least in the video. It's images, don't worry about it too much, man. Yeah, yeah. Now, I got most of the images, I got the images of Joe from the Welcome to Tally Hall music video, and I remember looking for just an image of Joe just standing there normally, and I was getting a bunch of other images that were kind of close to that, because, I did not expect it at all. And lo and behold, at very, like, basically the very end, close to the very end of the video, just for a couple frames, there is an image of Joe just standing there, normally. Leave it to Joe Hawley to do the least Joe Hawley thing imaginable and be normal. So when I found that, I knew, this is exactly what I want. Delete the other images, use this one. Now, fun fact, all the images in this video specifically of that move across the screen are actually different images, because I had to take the source image and crop it each and every time. Don't know why, I just had to. So I have like 5 images of the exact same thing, cropped ever so slightly differently, but you really can't tell. So yeah, there's that. And the reason I put that weird filter over him, which is kind of get a click, is because I knew I wouldn't be able to remove the background vocals from it. So I just kind of tried to like lampshade it, I guess, into be like some kind of heavenly choir or something. I don't know, something. Joe Hawley eyebrow raise. I saw a video very similar to this on YouTube and decided to make my own version. Technically, it's Zubin that did the eyebrow raise, as he says in the video. Oh, the source video at least. I didn't play the audio. But hey, it's close enough. And I used this, the eyebrow raise version this eyebrow raise meme in Ultimate Telly Hall Fan Quiz. It's a very similar style video to Top 10 People Who Care from the previous year. It's purposely low quality. And if I could find a way to compress the audio, I would have done that. I just didn't know how. Excuse me, I burped like the 5th time already. Don't know where all that air comes from, but it just does. Now, the whole point of this video was, the punchline was going to be that they're not playing in a band. The last question would be, are they playing in a band? The answer would be no, assuming the person was going to try and answer yes. And, that's the joke. I couldn't resist making a Joe Hawley joke in there as well. Joe Hawley jump scare. Ignore the misspelling in the video. At that section, there is a misspelling. And I was using, originally, for the thumbs up, just the thumbs up emoji meme thing. Then I came across the image of Zubin giving the thumbs up, and yep, that's what I'm using instead, and I used that instead. I also added in the dings later on in the video, and I did forget to put a ding in at one point. So maybe that's just part of the video. Let's just put it that way. Let's just say it's part of the video. Yeah, kind of adds the whole aesthetic of the video. So after those, we have Don't Be Intimidated, Squidward, an idea I had in my head for quite some time prior. I just never bothered to make it until that point in time. It's not probably as good as it could have been. I couldn't find the footage from the game, the footage that I wanted. But that's not really the problem. It's not the greatest video, but it's something at the very least. Then comes Nintendo slander. I think basically most of the reason, if not the entire reason I made this video, was because I didn't want FNAF slander to be the only one. Like, I do Nintendo. I gotta have Nintendo slander in there as well. It has to be equal. So I made Nintendo slander, and I had thought in my head, in my head some stuff that I could make for a Nintendo slander video, and I think it came out pretty well. It eventually ended up being the most viewed video on my channel for some reason. For like 2/3 of the year, it was Goodbye Mario. Last third, it was Nintendo slander, and I don't know why. Like, fun fact, there was a point in which literally half of my subscribers came from Goodbye Mario. No joke. But I don't know, and Nintendo slander just like even doubled its videos. So I don't know how that happened, but hey, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying. Now, there were some things I kind of forgot to put in that video that, it kind of left me feeling like I should make a sequel at some point. Which, I did eventually, but, I mean, I cannot really remember anything interesting to say about this video, about its production. I really can't remember. Other than I think I made all the Slender videos over the course of a single day. It was, started and ended the same day. So that's fun trivia, I guess. We have come for your nectar. Now, at that point, the meme was definitely dying and on its way out. basically close to being dead completely. But ever since I first heard that meme, I knew that the swarming shear grubs were a perfect fit for that, because that's what they do. They come for your nectar. Then I made come for your nectar. Of course, this is me, of course, in the entirety of the video, doing all the voices. And I did two different things for Olimar's voice. One was, "Get the heck out of my tropical wilds!" And the one was kind of like an impression of how he sounds in the game, like the weird noises or whatever. I went with those. So I could pick and choose. I did kind of try and find a way to, like, mimic the background of the text box in Pikmin 3. I couldn't do it. There's no way I could have done that. I even thought I had the same font that Pikmin 3 uses for the captions and cutscenes. It's in fact not the same font. The font I used in the video was Consolas. Consolas, I think, and that's the same font that Security Breach uses in some of its things. Which, yes, I remember that off the top of my head. But it's in fact not Consolas of Pikmin 3, and that kind of left me feeling relieved that these two games don't use the same font. Now, Pikmin does not use the same font as this franchise, or the other franchise, that thing, I'm glad. Anyway, Gregory gets red-pilled. The reason I made this video is because I found the sequel to Mario Evades the IRS, and I decided, well, I made a version of that, I'll make a version of this one. Just a sequel. Might as well, a tradition or something. I had to go back and find more images on Google, which, again, I didn't like doing, because I didn't like doing it. Which was itself also a pain in the hiney. Now, I did have more images from the game, though. That was nice. That was definitely something. I had much more problems, though, with the audio. Uberdog.ai just was not cooperating very well. I had a lot of problems with just things not working correctly. I really had to finesse it. And I feature in this video, like, 3, like, kind of funny, weird outtakes from the text-to-speech voices, which are kind of testament to the, what I had to do to get them to work correctly. But it didn't say things very well. It just didn't. But the voice I had the biggest problem with was the Roxanne Wolf one. That was hard. I think from when I made the first one, they might have sped it up a little bit, because I remember taking the audio and speeding that up by 1.3 times, and it sounded too fast there, so they must have changed the speed or something. But I had a lot of problems with that one. And I had to make some concessions, kind of remove some of the words from the original video, the source video, just to try and get it to work correctly. And for example, like the third of the 3 outtakes is the word "so" with an apostrophe. And that in the source video, Wario says, "so something," without an apostrophe, and the apostrophe was me trying to get it to work correctly, and I had to cut the word "so" because it didn't work. It would not speak the word correctly. But by far, the biggest problem I had, the one word it would not say, was the word "apologize." And it makes me think of the SpongeBob episode, Fools in April, where Squidward cannot say sorry to SpongeBob. Like, no matter what he does, it comes out wrong. And that was exactly what happened here. No matter how I tried to phrase it, or format it, the word "apologize" would just not come out at all. I mean, it would, but, like, it was just like, "I apologize," or something like that. Like, that 20-second long one is testament to the fact I broke it with the word "apologize." I did get it to work, though, by taking the word "apologize" by itself, and having the text-to-speech voice say that, and it worked. Which is why in the video, it sounds kind of stilted almost. Why it's like, "Please accept my apology." It's apology, not apologize, actually, but it's because the reason it says it like that is because it is literally like, it stops one sentence, and then says a second sentence. I just kind of play the 2 sentences together. But man, it was kind of frustrating with all that finessing. And yes, William Afton gets slandered, and all the, like, other things after that. It's not a slander meme from its title, but rather something different. If I made a But More Bearable 2, or something, or whatever, I had the idea of taking, the guy's name is Burn Trap, I guess, whatever, basically taking this joke and focusing the joke on him, right? You know, look at this dude. I did feature, Whose Dad Is This at the beginning, which is not part of, like, look at this dude, but it fit really well. But I would take in that and just, like, you know, focus on him, because it's about that game, right? You know, not the franchise by and large, but I decided to, you know, after I decided to make it to his own video, just to focus on more characters, which I ended up doing, and I had a lot of problems with that. And sometimes it seems when I'm making a video about this franchise, I get more problems than when I don't. Maybe it's just confirmation bias. Probably isn't. Probably just isn't true, but it's just kind of a funny thing, you know? Specifically, images. Thing is, I wasn't gonna go to Google and look this up. I wasn't gonna do that. I mean, I didn't like doing it for, like, the, you know, Gregory Evades the IRS and its sequel. I didn't like doing it there. But in this case, no, that's a line I definitely was not gonna cross. So, where else was I going to go? What else could possibly have the images? The wiki! So I'll go to the wiki. You know, make a quick test, or do a quick test, see if I can find the gallery in the page. Okay, the gallery's at the bottom. Go to his page. He doesn't have a gallery at the bottom. Doesn't have a gallery. Well, that's bad. Am I gonna have to go to Google? Oh, no, oh yeah, I forgot. The gallery is it's in the info box. Okay, click on that, and all the images I could ever want. Great. Except there's a problem with that. Fandom wikis. You know, 99 times out of 100, their image files are web page files. Now, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It's WEBP, so I'm pretty sure it's saying web page. Web page files are awful. They're the bane of my existence. There's times I've been image searching for videos, come across a nice image to use, I right-click to save, and I see its extension is WEBP. It's a web page file, and that means I can't use it. The reason is, you're not saving a file, or you're not saving an image. You're saving a web page file. You're saving a link to the image. And that serves no good. You can't insert a link of an image to look at the image. Like, literally, if you save it, go to wherever it's saved, click on it, open up that file, it will open up in a tab with that image in your whatever Internet Explorer browser thing you're using. They are useless. And fandom wikis are full of webpage files. So there's a couple things you can do. Either A, you find another image, or B, you pirate it. By that I mean you screen record the image. That's what I do. Sure, that means you're not gonna get the full quality. If it's like, you know, if the image is like 80 by 1200p, or 800 by 1200p, then if you screen record, it's not gonna be at that resolution. But it's either medium quality image or no image at all. So I chose medium quality image. And besides, I was gonna make this video kind of, you know, purposefully in a low pixel density or whatever, so not gonna be a huge deal, I suppose. But one image, and doing that, kicked my butt. The thing is, of course, if you're screen recording an image, and you're gonna use that, you're not gonna get a transparent image. It's always going to be a background. So you gotta chroma key out the background. You gotta green screen it out. And one image would not cooperate. I'm fairly certain I still have the image, and I can put it for you right here, but this one. I tried to get rid of that background best I could, and no matter what I did, there was an outline. And I used as many chroma keys as I could on that image, and turned them all up to maximum, and I was literally... the only thing left of his body were the light parts. There was still an outline. Like, the background I was trying to remove was like, the exact same color. And now, sure, there's probably points in time where, you know, you might have been trying to do something, and you notice that, oh, it didn't fill this image, you know, correctly. Like a fill tool like Microsoft Paint or something, it's around like an image you've downloaded off the internet, it's not going to perfectly fill around that line because, you know, not every hexadecimal is exactly the same. It's like, ooh, one byte off, and it's a different color, technically speaking. Like, that might have been what happened here, but I was turning all of those chroma keys up to their maximum settings, and I got rid of his body, and there was still an outline. And the color is so close to the background. The background being the background of, like, the image preview thing when you click on an image in the fandom wiki. Specifically for this wiki. And I was doing this on a black background, by the way. It's going to be important later on. So, I didn't know what to do. I spent a lot of time finessing with that thing. And I thought to myself, okay, what if I use the link or something? Like, what if I click on the image, open a link, and there, the entire image has a white background. You know, filling out the portion of the stuff that's transparent. White is probably going to be easier to chroma key out. So, I do the same thing there. I did finessing over there, not nearly as much finessing as with the normal image, the original one, because I was kind of fed up at that point. But I did plenty of finessing there. Eventually, when I was, you know, I had put in enough work, I felt, with the white background, I compared the two, there was still an outline, and the white outline was worse. Not only was it more, you know, prevalent, but I think there might have been more there, actually. Okay, it might have been a little bit less there than I think about it. But either way, it was more prevalent because it's white and not like kind of like it was like a gray or like a slight bluish tint to it that the wiki uses. So, that was bad. No matter what I did, I couldn't get rid of that outline. So what do? I lie. I carefully no longer had the background be black, instead color the background the exact same color as the wiki's image preview background. That way, even when I chroma keyed it out, there would still be an outline, but you wouldn't be able to tell there's an outline. And that is what I did. But when I had finished that, there was still one image left I needed to put in the video. One little image list section. So, well, from what I was doing, it seemed the option was to use the guy from the third game. So I did the same thing there, screen recorded the image, and took that, and chroma keyed out the background, and I removed the entirety of his body. I think except for his eyes, because they're white. He was gone. Wait, I thought there was one chance. There was one chance. See, I was doing this on a black background. What if I took the image and put it on the not black background and, oh, phew, he's all there. He's in fact not completely gone. I just couldn't tell because he's so dark. That's fine. So it ended up being whatever. Now as for the production of the video, besides that, I accidentally made a joke on that, you know, the scrap trap, his head. I wasn't intending to make a joke about his head. I really wasn't, just kind of ended up coming out that way. And when I converted the video into a video file, I apparently accidentally did it at like 128p or 128p or something, and uploaded that. And I noticed that I deleted the video, and it got like, what, 3 views in like, at most, a minute it was uploaded. That was weird. Excuse me, I burped again. These are some of your light ones, though, the last couple ones. Anyway, so I went back and did it at a higher resolution, 360p instead. So if you want to see exactly how pixelated that original video was, you can go watch that one and set it to, like, the 120p. And that's what it is. And that means the next video is going to be Peter Griffin sings Go to Bed. Now, if it's a little bit different for you, it's because there's actually a different recording in the day after the last one. So welcome to the 31st, ladies and gentlemen. So anyway, yeah, Peter Griffin sings Go to Bed. Now, I can't really remember how exactly I came up with this video. I think I did watch like a meme of like the whole like scene from Family Guy, And I got to thinking about it, and I came up with the idea of Go to Bed. Because in that song, you know, there's dip, dip, dip. And Peter Griffin says dip, dip, dip in the meme. It's a perfect fit. It's a perfect fit. And I made that the exact same day I thought of it, because I didn't want to spend the next 3 days thinking about this and whether or not I should make it. I was just like, yeah, just make it. And I didn't even try to do lip syncing with this one, so the quality isn't great, but I knew I wouldn't be able to do it. I knew I wouldn't be able to. It'd be a lot of work, and I knew it wouldn't turn out good, so why bother trying? And it's not the greatest video on my channel. It's all right, I guess. Next is Meet the Phone Guy. Oh boy. So, the idea for this, to replace lines from Meet the Heavy with clips of the phone guy, was on my head for quite some time prior. I just didn't bother to do it until this video. And yeah, there's that. I always knew I wanted to be kind of like a purposefully low quality kind of compressed sort of thing. I was looking around for ways to compress the audio, and I did eventually find a way to do that. So that's good. Now, is it funny? Kind of, I guess. I think it's kind of funny. I did edit out some clips from Meet the Heavy, but it wasn't gonna do the whole thing. And I did do a Bite of 87 joke at the end, because, it was just too easy. It just worked too well. I feel like I should have more to say about that, but I don't. Oh well. Next is Meet the Hand Unit. Oh boy, that's that's where things happen. Out of the ones I've made of this thus far, I think that Meet the Hand Unit is probably like my least favorite. I had some ideas after, Meet the Phone Guy of like something I could do for this, and I think I had like 2 ideas for replacing, clips of the Hand Unit, or just like Andy Field in general, because he does like the exact same voice. It's all the same thing. Over Meet the Medic. And those like 2 ideas are clearly the best ones of the video. So when I sat down to make it, I had to come up with other things, and I really couldn't. And I wanted to put stuff in there, but I ended up just kind of feeling forced in some ways. And I couldn't really edit out parts of Meet the Medic, because that's just the way it just didn't, I couldn't do that very well. That's just the nature of Meet the Medic. So, like, I guess straight compressed Meet the Medic has, a bit of merit and value on its own. Not a whole lot, though. And I think I did look a little bit, when you think about it, trying to replace maybe the Scout with a different voice. But I didn't look very hard, I don't think. I think I may have just given it kind of a passing thought, just like, oh, that's not much, Scout dialogue doesn't really matter all that much. So there's two major things with this video. There's the severed spy head and the audio glitch. Let's just talk about the severed spy head first, 'cause that's first, chronologically speaking. I knew I had to replace the severed spy head with something. I had to. I could not let that opportunity go by. It was too good. I had to bank on that. And not bank on it, I can't think of the word. I had to utilize it, I guess. And I thought long, and I thought hard about what I could use. I had some criteria. Very simple criteria, really. One, the voice clip kind of had to make sense. I wanted to keep the medic saying later in there, so, it had to make there had to be some kind of response to that, that was funny. It had to be short, because that clip there was like 2/3 of a second, I can't put in like a 5-second long audio clip in there, because, I could speed up the audio and I could slow down the video, but there's a limit to which, after that, it kind of becomes noticeable. So, like, again, a 5-second voice clip in place of a 2/3 second one, it's just gonna, there is no way that's going to work without it looking terrible, or sounding terrible, or probably both at the same time. And I wanted the character to have a decent number of voice clips, you know, to use for other things in case I made a version with Meet the Spy, because, you know, there was continuity in these things. I kept using, phone guy voice clips for the Heavy. So, you know, it had to be extra stuff, and yeah, it's some very simple stuff. It had to be short, it had to work, and there had to be more other than just that one voice clip. So that last one, more than just like 3 lines, automatically kills a lot of the speaking characters in this franchise, because most of them come from like Ultimate Custom Night, and they have like 3-4 voice lines there at most. Yeah, most of those guys are out. That's like half the speaking characters in this franchise right there. Maybe even like 2/3, 5/8. I don't know. So there's that. I couldn't use phone guy again, so that's something. And there was 2 characters I never chose. One, Ballora. I knew I didn't want her, so I didn't bother thinking about that. And then there was Bon Bon. I forgot about him. So I maybe could have used him, might have worked, but I completely forgot that guy existed, or that he even spoke. So yeah, maybe that would have worked. I don't know. I haven't really thought about that. So basically everything except for those 2 guys, and like if you have more than 3 lines. Everything except for the lines for like special delivery. Those ones I kind of counted, but they weren't like meaty enough for me to really like fully consider them on their own. But like all those criteria together, especially that having a lot of stuff, I cut out a lot of the speaking characters in this franchise. So many of them, and you know I kind of wanted the voice to maybe kind of fit as well. You know, so any old thing probably wasn't going to work, but that one wasn't a huge deal. I went with Glamrock Chica, right? That's the opposite of the Spy. Very opposite of the Spy. That's high-pitched and feminine. The Spy is not high-pitched and feminine. And to be honest, I no less than 3 times settled on Glamrock Chica. Now, I kind of began to naturally gravitate towards the characters from Security Breach. Maybe because I'm biased, it's possible, but I mean, I knew from experience that there's voice clips there. You know, there's probably some meaty stuff there, and actually sitting down and looking at the amount of voice clips, there's actually not that many. There's not, especially for the one I was looking for. And the first time, I think I like settled on her, but like, let's look at the other 3 guys, and nah, okay, go back to Herbert. No, okay, well, what about like Funtime Freddy or something? Yeah, let's try him. Let's try that. No, that doesn't work very well. That doesn't fit. Well, let's just go back to the one I had chosen the previous 2 times, and let's go with that. Because really, she's the only one that I felt like fit those criteria the best, and it wasn't even that good. There were more voice lines, sure, and there were short voice lines, and okay, not many. And did the voice lines fit? Maybe faintly, but like I could not let that Severed Spy head go. And that was the best one I could come up with. The very short, just a clip of like Gregory or whatever. That was the best one I could find. I thought long and hard about this, and by golly, it doesn't work very well. It just doesn't. Surprisingly enough, looking back, it probably would have been better if I had just left it there. Now, if you were watching this video, or watching that video, and you didn't know that, might have been kind of disappointing that I didn't try and do something with it. You know, so it kind of makes sense to try and do something, it's just there weren't any good options, but I couldn't let it go. Yeah. That was kind of a fatal mistake in some ways. But anyway, I can that later on. Then there's the audio glitch at the very end. With one of the phone guy voice clips. Yeah, I didn't know how to fix it. I tried everything I could think of to try and get that thing to go away and try to sound normal, and it wouldn't go away. That bug just just stayed there. And I just got fed up and said, well, I can't fix it, gonna put it in the video, and upload it to YouTube, and I may have doomed the entirety of humanity by uploading something with a bug in it to YouTube. Haha, funny reference. I did have an idea later on about how to fix it, which was, it didn't do much because it was after I finished the video. And actually, that idea did end up working. So that's something. But more on that later. So next would be Pikmin 2 Pre-Release Unused Content Part 2, the Kiosk Demo. It's almost an hour long of me reading text. When I say like 95% of Pikmin 2's English script has an early version in some capacity, I mean it. It's like almost an hour long of me reading off early text. And that's it. There's like 3 localization changes that are different, which I didn't cover in this series because that's localization. That's technically not unused content. It's used. It's just not, you're not gonna see it half the time. But it's just a bunch of text, man. It's just a bunch of text minus 3 localization changes. But that's not important. It's just text. That's why I put a bunch of, dark gray text behind the Pikmin 2 and Pre-Release Unused Content in Part 2, the cast demo behind all that stuff in the thumbnail. Because it's text. It's literally just text. Okay, not literally just text, but it's metaphorically or literally just text. I can't think of much more to say about the video, though. I feel like there is stuff that happened, I just don't remember what it is. Next would be JoeHawley_PowerOut.mp4. This is kind of like a slight parody of the .mp4 style videos, with the complete demos version of Rule of Everything, and it's the FNAF 1 Power Out thing, but it's Joe instead of Freddy, and instead of the Toreador, is that Toreador March? I don't know how to pronounce that. It's complete demos version of Rule of Everything. It makes sense. It fit very well. Making the video didn't turn out the greatest, to be honest. Could have been better. But, whatever. I did all the flashes by hand, and I did notice in the game footage I had gotten that, actually the appearance of his face is, or I guess Freddy's face, is random. It's not always consistent, like the same amount of frames, so I kind of varied it a little bit here as well. And I had actually misremembered something when going into this video. I had misremembered the fact that Freddy's face appears out of the darkness. I, for some reason, thought it was always there, but it was like flashed in time with the music. And technically, I was right, it did flash in time with music, it just didn't, go in and out of, being able to see it. I was wrong, but whatever, it's not a huge deal. I fixed it. Meet the Glamrock Chica. Justification for using that voice clip in Meet the Hand Unit. That's the reason I made this video. I wanted to justify it. I made use of all those extra voice clips. Now, to be honest, I did not start making this video with the intention of uploading it. I started making it just to see how it would turn out, and if it was good, I felt it was good enough, I would upload it. And I think it did eventually reach that, criteria. I guess I felt like it wasn't garbage. It was better than Meet the Hand Unit. And I uploaded it. I do have an early version of this video that just has a couple different changes, but I'm not going to bother showing it here. I was almost finished with the compression of it. I was literally almost done, going through the motions of compressing all the audio and the video before I decided to go back to, then I decided to go back to make some changes to it. Just a couple changes. Now, one thing I do like about this video is that I actually kept in some background audio instead of just straight replacing the audio with the voice clip. Because my editing program does come with a vocal removing thing, but it's not like a thing found on the internet. It's not like a machine vocal removing. It's you can tell that there's just like a filter of certain frequencies that just doesn't play. So you're gonna remove more stuff than just the vocals. And let me tell you, in Meet the Spy, if you do some of the vocal removing, you get horror game audio, like ambience, because you hear distant echoes of the voices and background noise and weird droning in the background. I think might be an artifact of the vocal removing thing. it does sound kind of like just some distant horror game audio. So I might play it here. Or not. You'll see. So yeah, this video is maybe not the greatest. It's better than Meet the Hand, anything less than Meet the Phone Guy, and I definitely compressed it a bit too much. Could stand a few more pixels. I will admit. I will admit that one. And this is actually where I managed to fix the audio bugs. So that's fun. I learned how to do that. Now I used some. I did use a different voice for the soldier, Monty. So if I ever made a version with Meet the Soldier, it admittedly probably wouldn't be that if I had to guess. Probably would not use that. I don't just think there's enough there. Kind of on a whim, I decided to do that, and I knew I kind of wanted to find some voices or find a voice for the scout, but I knew that would be really hard. It would be a repeat of the Severed Spy head, so I didn't bother. I had some ideas, but I just didn't really bother. Next is Jesse. You can't spend 5 nights at Freddy's. This to me feels like one of those videos that has like 1.2 million views. Like you just see it recommended to you. It's like, oh, it's got like 1 million views. Why doesn't my video have 1 million views yet? I don't know. It was either I did the voices for this or it was a text-to-speech voice. I don't think there was a Jesse Pinkman text-to-speech voice though, so I kind of had to brave it and do it myself. Not my favorite video, to be honest. It really isn't. It's bearable, I suppose, but I don't know. Nintendo Slander 2. We've really been going through these videos a lot quicker than before. Wow. Oh, why did I make this one? I think I just finally tried to sit down and, put in the ideas I had forgotten the first time. So yeah, and I specifically wanted this video to be at least 3 minutes. It had to be longer. It had to be longer than FNAF Slander. It had to be. I would not let myself have this video be shorter. And I did. It was kind of a slog getting there, and like the very last one in the video, that very last one I just kind of made just to hit that 3-minute mark, and just cut it right there. I do think the memes in this video though are a little bit funnier than the first one. I will admit. And one thing I keep forgetting to mention is the thumbnails, actually, because I just got a list here. I don't have the thumbnails. I'm not looking at it. But I do remember something with the thumbnail. I didn't draw the Luigi hat this time. Unlike the first Nintendo Slander, I drew the Mario hat and the Toad cap on that one. But I did draw the Luigi mustache. But I did have to get an image of Luigi's hat, and I had to mirror it, which is why the L's background. Or backwards, sorry. But there was a background. It wasn't a transparent image, so I had to chroma key out all the white backgrounds. I got rid of the white behind Luigi's L, so I had to go and put that back in. If you might notice, if you look close in the thumbnail, there's a little part between the L and the brim of the cap. There's a little piece of white sticking out. I was either too lazy to fix that, or I didn't notice it. I can't remember. This is in contrast to the image of the purple puncher in the bottom left. I had to chroma key out the background for that as well, and then removing the purple puncher's mouth. So I spent a lot of time finessing, getting it to fit back in there with the exact same color, so it looks the same basically, and trying to make sure it didn't appear out of like any corners or anything like that. A lot of finessing with that. Of course, in contrast to me not doing that with the more prevalent one, I guess. than FNAF Slander 2. I think half the reason I made Nintendo Slander 2 was just because I couldn't let myself have more FNAF Slanders than Nintendo Slanders. Now, why did I make this video? Why did I make this video? Yes, I had seen another Slander meme about this. Someone else had made their own, and I watched it, and it was not filled to the brim with, like, fans of X game doing Y. No, it was actual slander, and that opened up the gates. Like, oh, that broke my mindset. So I thought of more stuff and put it in here. Now, the thumbnail. I had a couple ideas for the thumbnail. Either was a reverse of the first video's thumbnail, which is what I ended up going with, or it was based off of the second game, a thumbnail based off the second game, with one of the smiling Wojaks. Probably would have, gone to MS Paint, painted out like the puppet or something. Or maybe it could have done a combination of the both. That was something I thought of later. But it kind of ruined the entire idea of doing a reverse of the first video's thumbnail. No, the reason why I might want to go with a thumbnail based off the second game, because it's the second Slander video, right? First game is the thumbnail's about the first one. The first video, the thumbnail's about the first game. The second video, the thumbnail's about the second game, etc., etc., etc. If you made a third one, you have the third game, all that stuff. But I kind of knew if I ever made a sequel to the first video that I wanted to do a reverse, the opposite of the pointing soy jacks, with the sequel's thumbnail. And that idea eventually won out. I'm fine. I made this video in 5 minutes. About literally 5 minutes. Now, I did some stuff before. Now, I always kind of wanted to find, like, the I'm fine meme with Fire Mario. So it's like, I'm Fire Mario! I always wanted to find that and voice that. I looked and I couldn't find it. So I thought to myself, okay, what's something I could do similar to that? Like, what's an I'm fine meme I could make myself? And my mind eventually gravitated towards the DK rap. And when I sat down to record the audio for that, finishing it, that time frame between starting and finishing, like 5 minutes, literally. So might as well stuff beforehand, but 5 minutes. It was raining outside too. It was kind of early in the morning when I recorded it. Maybe it wasn't raining. It was like kind of cloudy and dark out. I think it might have been kind of storming a little bit actually. Anyway, not much to mention about that one. Donald Trump jams out to Tally Hall. Now, I'd seen a meme very similar to this one, and decided to make my own version, as that kind of happens with me sometimes. And I used the introduction to Tuwov, because it's the introduction to Tuwov, and it's good. Now, I had a bit of trouble like getting all the video clips to kind of like the timing down correctly. And there was a lot of finessing there, and then I got the timing down. I think it wasn't like straight, like even numbers, I think. It probably wasn't like, times 2 or times like 1.5 or something. Maybe like times 1 point some decimal, I can't remember. But when I was doing all the timing with it, I eventually found out that all the videos put together that played the exact same speed, because I wasn't going to do like, different speeds. I accidentally got the bass line of the song to start right as he starts twerking, and I knew that was golden, and I kept it that way. It was an accident, but it had to be like that. Waltamin 2. The Walta meme, but I made my own version with Pikmin 2. And I misspelled worry as Watty. Didn't notice that while editing. Obviously. Okay, then again, I've been talking a lot about being lazy while doing this, so I guess that isn't terribly obvious. But if I did find it, I would have fixed it, trust me. Same for, like, most, or if not all, the spellings in my videos. If I have found them before I upload the video, I would have probably fixed it, with like maybe one exception. More on that later. So yeah, I can't really remember anything more about this video. Yeah. I knew how to make a sequel, though. Not like a direct sequel to this, but if I had to make a sequel, I know what I would do. Anyway, let's move on to the Mind Electric but Epic. So one day, I had the Mind Electric playing in my head, and I got in that part of the song after the, spiraling down thy majesty verse, or whatever. And right after I finished, for some reason my brain then switched to the Gobble Chicken song. I don't know why. It was all of a sudden the Gobble Chicken song. One day I decided to put that down. So it took a while to make it, or to get to the point of making it, but it just worked. It worked pretty well, and the transition between the Mind Electric and the Gobble Chicken songs actually pretty good. I gotta pat myself on the back for that one. There we go. Yeah, it's basically just that. Maybe there's more from Hawaii Part 2.-3 in the future, but I wouldn't hold my breath on that one. And let's get to turn the page of my list. Next is It's Real. Now I gotta say this more gusto. It's real! Or something like that. So, September 13th, 2022, a Nintendo Direct was aired that day, which they literally announced Pikmin 4. And I still cannot believe I'm saying that they actually announced Pikmin 4. I'm not being sarcastic, this isn't a daydream, they announced Pikmin 4. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe I'm truthfully, unsarcastically saying those words. And I knew I had to do something. I always told myself I'd do, a trailer analysis of the trailer if Pikmin 4 was ever announced. And I'm gonna burp again. Oh, holy smokes. Nah, it's going away. Naturally. And so I tried to record one. I actually kind of started, scripting it, but, nah. I'll just, do it freehand, I guess. And it didn't turn out very good. It really didn't. It was really just made on short notice. Very short notice, and it was gonna be pretty obvious that I was just looking at the images and pointing out things I had seen in them. And there's a problem with that, though. I didn't record my microphone audio. Yeah, that was a problem. I didn't want to go back and re-record it, though, so I wanted to do something else. Now, the video did contain a recreation of my reaction to Pikmin 4 being announced, so I can do this here. It's going to be about maybe 90 to 95% accurate. Most of the not accuracy is the timing of me saying stuff. A lot more delayed when I originally did it, but just for the purpose of this here, I'll be combining it all close together. So something like this.
Walk's a lot of fun.
What is this, the Pikmin Bloom advertisement?
It's a very easygoing
play
experience
old man.
you can enjoy just by taking it with you. I hope you'll try it out. Okay, now to the main event. Please take a look at this.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe the screen wasn't quite like that, but it's close enough. So, trailer analysis was out. I had to do something with it. I guess I had to do something. And I only had a couple images on screen, so I'll just make a meme about it, I guess. Celebrating that Pikmin 4 is announced. And that's this video. I did some fun stuff with the timing and all that stuff, but basically it's just that. Then we have September 13th, Nintendo Direct Aftermath. This is how I assumed it went. I hadn't checked, but this is basically how I assumed it went. I like the thumbnail, though. It's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple video. Really not much more to say about it. Then also on the exact same day, 3 videos in one day, and very unrelated, is Joe Hawley Eats Taco Bell. I think I'm gonna burp now. There we go. Excuse me. What is this, a running joke or something? So yes, Joe Hawley Eats Taco Bell. So I think some days prior, I've been listening to the first 2 demos of the Mind Electric, and when I got to the part in demo 2 where it's the weird, sounds, I kind of, I guess, thought to myself, something about someone being on the toilet after eating Taco Bell. And I assumed it was Joe doing that, so it's Joe Hawley eating Taco Bell. I made a video with it. Using one of the images, actually the images I had made in Joe Hawley is Thirsty, so those cropped images reappeared here. I remember thinking a little bit about the background music in the beginning of the video, might have to find some kind of generic, elevated music, but I thought, oh yeah, there's the Banana Man Lounge version, just use that instead. So I used that instead. It works. Next is a weird one. The Mind Electric 8-bit lyric video. Why does this exist? Well, as stated in the description, I just made this for fun. I just wanted to make it, I just felt like making this. You know, I didn't make it to upload or anything like that. I just wanted to make the video. Just felt like something fun to do, so I did. It's useless. The 8-bit versions of the Hawaii Part 2 songs don't have lyrics, as far as I know. So it's quite a very useless video, but I just made it for fun. That's all that it is. The blue in the second part, though, some stuff about that is that I wanted the blue to be lighter and end up being darker overall because I wanted more contrast. But I did a lot of finessing with the colors, even after I did all the timing and stuff with all of that. And then the timing with the blue colors does not seem to be accurate with the music, in case you're wondering. You might notice towards the very end, before we switch to the purple for the second time, the blue stays on screen just for a little bit longer before it switches to the next color, because I was making up for the timing there. Because I don't think it was extremely accurate. I was trying to be as accurate as possible with the red part, so I just kind of assumed it would work the same with the blue part. And it didn't, but whatever. So yeah, just made this for fun. Meet the Vanny. I knew if I ever made a fourth one of those, whatever you want to call them, it would be with Meet the Pyro. It just worked. This whole thing, it just seemed to work very well. I didn't bother with the sentence mixing because, well, I don't think it really worked all that well, and just kind of stayed with the overall theme of the video. Speaking of which, the description, I spoofed the description of Meet the Pyro. So yeah, there's that. And I figured this video would be very easy to make. I was sorely mistaken. So, thinking about a different video, which I probably should get on to later. I forgot about that one. Let me write this one down, actually. Why did I write this one down? Let's see, I'll just put this one over there. Yeah, I forgot about that one. Anyway, I didn't spell that right, but oh well, it doesn't really matter. So looking for this video, I'll probably talk about later. I needed one of the trailers for the game, and I was thinking about this. I thought about the video for some time. I knew that, you know, both this video and the other one used the trailer, or these trailers, I guess. So if I just find the one that I needed very easily, I'd make it. I wasn't gonna look very hard, but I just wanted to see if I could easily find it. Went to the wiki, easily found it. Cool. So, okay, that's the trailer I wanted. Oh, it's actually not the one with the... That trailer does not have the same scene. I misremembered the fact that one trailer contained the two things I needed for both videos. So, guess go down with the other one instead. Yeah, that's the one I wanted. So now I have 2 trailers on the game downloaded. I haven't deleted them yet because other reasons, which I could probably talk about later. So the scene I wanted from one of the trailers specifically was the second trailer. And the beginning of that one, it's a zoom-in iris transition thing on the mask from the VR game. And I wanted to use that in Meet the Vanny because it, you know, instead of, you know, the zoom in on the lens of the Pyro's mask, it's this instead. Super simple, super easy replacement. It's all I needed. And oh yeah, this video has a big Chungus joke. I felt kind of dirty for doing that. But it's just the simplest thing in the world. The simplest thing in the world. Proved to be hard to do, hard to pull off, and complicated. Because it didn't work. The trailer linked in the wiki has the PlayStation State of Play watermark. Now I'm sure if I could go and find the one that didn't have the watermark on it, I wasn't going to do that. So I initially just put it in there, you know, didn't mind the watermark too much, but it just kind of just sat there, taunting me. I just didn't like it. I had to get rid of it. So, okay, what would I do? Well, I could chroma key it out, but the gray color of the watermark is too close to kind of creamish color of the mask, and that would chroma key that out as well. What if I took an unchroma keyed version, put that underneath, that way it filled out the that it would fill out the holes that it made in the mask, right? But then again, oh, there's a giant PlayStation State of Play watermark hole in the top layer that's being filled by the State of Play the PlayStation State of Play watermark on the second layer. It didn't matter. Okay, that kind of doesn't work very well. I mean, I could blot it out, but then the mask zooms over the watermarks. If I blotted it out, then there would be a big blot on the screen. You could very easily tell it was there. So that didn't work. I needed a new plan. Okay, well, I remembered from But More Bearable. I had an image there. I'll go find the image because I deleted it. But I go get it, found it, and use that image instead. Oh, but there's a lot of colors on this image. I couldn't quite easily chroma key out like an iris. There's a lot of colors. Just wouldn't work very well. I'd be pulling out parts of the background. No, I had to do something. Then I came up with the bright idea to do a lot of work. What if I took this image, cropped it in just such a way that I didn't ever have in any of the 4 crops that I would end up using piece of the iris I wanted to get rid of. And that way I could take all 4 cropped images and have them pan and zoom in such a way that they would all convene together. Sounds like a lot of work. And it was. It was a lot of work to get all 4 images to line up perfectly. And I was doing that for a long time, doing a lot of finessing, and I was actually getting it to work pretty well. It wasn't perfect, but it was, I mean, really, if you think about it, for what I was trying to do, it was working pretty well. Again, it was noticeable, but it was working. Again, not perfectly, but say it with me, pretty well. But then I thought to myself, no, this doesn't need to be this hard. I can just go to Microsoft Paint, put over play a little green screen color over the iris, and I can go over here and chroma key that out. That's just that simple. Go to Microsoft Paint, do that, do it again. Okay, I had to find a color that wasn't in the image, which if you're looking at the image, which I'm assuming I have, hopefully I have, you notice there's a lot of colors in the image, and I can probably I know where I got the image from. I can go get it again if I need to, but there's a lot of colors in this image. So what your task is finding a color that isn't in this image. How do you find that? Like, how do you find a color that isn't in an image that's full of a bunch of colors like this? You don't. I eventually settled on a mint green, which actually did work pretty well. Not perfectly, but it did work pretty well. So I went over and chroma keyed it out, but there was a nice little green outline around the image, and I couldn't, turn up the chroma key settings very much because I'd get rid of more of the other image around it, so that was a pain. But then thought to myself, I'm stupid. It doesn't need to be this difficult. What I'm trying to do is make a black hole, right? So what if I just go back to Microsoft Paint, and instead of trying to find a green screen color, I just paint it black instead. And that worked. All of that worked just for the simplest solution. And it did work pretty well. I didn't use the blotted out image immediately in the video itself because there was a very obvious hole there. So I got it to transition into the image. So that it looks a lot better that way. It's kind of hard to tell. Well, you can tell, but I kind of got the timing down the best I could. Timing is the video was the best I could find. So a lot of work for that video, a lot more work than you might expect for something that simple. And again, big chunkus joke. Again, I felt kind of dirty. Oh boy, you reposted in the wrong answering machine. I was watching some videos like this, even though it's an old, dead meme. I decided to make my own. Use the phone guy, because there's a lot of stuff there, right? A lot of material. And I did. It's not great. The timing of the videos may be a little bit slow, in retrospect. And it was getting pretty hard towards the end. It's like, if you were to go and look at all the dialogue of all of the phone guy scripts and stuff like that, there's a lot of stuff there. I mean, several minutes at the very least. I'm making like a minute and a half long video. It's quite easy, right? But you gotta find lines that kind of fit the flow and kind of rhyme. And that inherently, I guess, incredibly shrinks the amount of available material. I was really stretching myself towards the end there trying to find stuff that worked. So yeah, there's that. And I actually do have an early version of this video where I had backgrounds. The backgrounds changed. Back was the first game's, second game's, and third game's offices, and they would change depending on which audio the game was from. So, example, if I was using Phone Guy from the second game, it'd be the second game's office in the background, and, it would switch. I got rid of it, though. Just didn't really look right, kind of just looked kind of cringe, I guess, to me. It's kind of a hard video to make a little bit. I put some work into it, but it definitely could have been better. And the day after, I started working on a sequel. I was determined to make a better version. And we'll get to that one shortly. Trust me. Not shortly, but we got a couple things before that. I'm sorry, Coach. And I'm sorry, Coach Meme. Decided to make me own. It's the Banana Man intro. Because it works so well. It took me 30 minutes to make this video, and I didn't do the syllables with the word over. Didn't notice that. The over, I didn't, I'm sorry. Don't look at it. Another Super Mario Bros. Movie meme. I decided to capitalize on the recent release of the first trailer on the Mario movie. I actually saw someone else make a video like this, and I decided to make it my own, just because, I don't know, why not? It kind of started out a little bit YTP-y, to be honest, but I didn't really think I could do a YTP very well, so yeah, it's not my best video. Excuse me. It's not the best. It's not my favorite video. I don't know why I've been burping so much, man. I don't know why. I swear I don't burp this often all the time. I'm sorry. Anyway, so yeah, it's not, it's alright, I guess. It's dated, but whatever. Next would be, the sequel. You reposted in the wrong Pizzaplex. I spent a long time working on this video. Not every day straight. A couple days I didn't work on it. But by golly, this video was a pain in the boots to do. So many things just were extremely frustrating. I swear, it's that thing where I work on something that has to do with this franchise and the video goes haywire. It hates me sometimes. You wanna know what happened? Sure you do, I'm gonna tell you anyway. Let's start with something else, actually. So I wanted to make a better version, so I kinda got out one of my favorite versions, which I think was You Bonged in the Wrong Neighborhood or something. It's with TF2 Scout. I quite like that video. It's one of the one of the best ones I've seen for that meme. Probably if not the best I've seen. And I took that video and I studied it. I researched it to see how it would turn out. And I looked at the timing of the lines and the syllables and the rhyming and stuff like that. Well, all the lines basically rhyme, so it didn't really matter too much. Like the timing of the first line, the timing of the second line, and look how many syllables were, on average, were in each line. I determined that didn't matter too much. It's more to do with the beats, which I determined were 10 beats, at least in that video, per, like, line or 2 lines. I can't remember. I think it might have been per line or something. And, yeah, I did the timing in seconds for the first line, and then the second line, and then for each of those 2 phrases, whatever you want to call it. So I hunkered down. I thought about what made a good "You Reposted in the Wrong Neighborhood" meme. I really did, and it did make this video better overall. I think that the timing it's much more, it's faster, it's much more concise, and it works a lot better. Now, I kind of initially started making this video just to see if I could, to see if it would turn out well, and the first thing I made in the video was like the beginning of the second verse. It's where I decided to put it. I can't remember exactly where it ended. I know what line started after that like initial idea, but I can't remember what the last line of that initial idea was. The line that starts after that, like, again, that initial idea I had for this video was, I knew it was, some Vanessa voice clip. I can't remember which one. It's one of those, no. But anyway, again, this video was a humongous pain in the hiney. The reason is because I experienced so many audio glitches with this thing. You know the audio glitch I talked about in Meet the Hand Unit? That happened like tenfold here. So many audio files would just bug out and just not play the last, I don't know, half second or something, and it would happen just so much. It was super annoying, super frustrating, and it's just so annoying. For example of just the insanity I'm experiencing. This actually happened. I take a voice clip, take this audio file, and it works just fine. Okay, I take it, I split it into 3 sections. The one I want is the middle section, and it works just fine. I remove the last of the 3 sections. It works just fine. I remove the first section. The middle section, all that's left, all of a sudden, does not play in its entirety. I go back, I undo, removing the first section, so we have 2 technically different pieces here that are right next to each other. Plays just fine. I go back, remove the first section, the second section still does not play at all. That's the insanity I was experiencing. There was no logical reason for that to happen, for as far as I know. That's what I had to work with here. It was so annoying. And another example, I opened up something and I could see the waveform for the clip it was. In this specific case, the little, like, an ending bit just wouldn't play. And I saw the waveform finish loading, and then like a split second later, that last section where it wouldn't play, the waveform collapsed down to 0. Like, all of a sudden remembered, oh yeah, I can't play that. Bro! Why? It was so... I literally saw that it knows the audio is there, but then just remembered, oh yeah, I'm not supposed to be playing that. It was so annoying. So frustrating. And eventually, it just stopped happening. I don't know why. Like, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Like, the files themselves, I would take it, I would delete the file, go back and download a copy. The same thing would happen. Or, I didn't delete the file first, go back and download another copy, so technically it's a different file with a different file name. The same thing would happen. It's madness. It's ludicrous. It's asinine, I tell you. It's so annoying and frustrating. But like I said, eventually that just stopped happening. I stopped getting files where it did that. Like about the second half of working on this video, none of the files I downloaded off the wiki did that anymore. Like, with the exception of one. And all the ones I used previously, they still did that. But it's madness, I tell you. It's insanity. And another thing with the audio was that the wiki, for some reason, does not have a complete compendium of all the voice clips. It's missing some. A couple here, a couple there. But the wiki is currently missing, at least time of me saying this, in its entirety, any of Gregory's voice clips. And a good chunk of Glamrock Freddy's. There's a couple from Dread Unit, actually about maybe roughly half or something, I don't know. There's basically stuff from Dread Unit, there's a couple spontaneous missing ones here and there for the other characters. but by golly, that was also annoying because I was going to try and include as many characters from the game in there as I could. I did try with the sun guy and the moon guy. I did try. I couldn't find anything that worked though, so it wasn't for lack of trying. But okay, if I needed every character, I needed, at the very least, Freddy and Gregory. I had to go to YouTube, find a YouTube video that had all of the voice clips. I did actually ask somebody once if they could get them for me from the files, and someone pointed out, hey, they're probably on YouTube. And I was like, oh yeah, I wasn't really gonna do that because I can do that then. So yeah, whatever. And the problem with those videos is like you can look it up on YouTube. You can look it up like Gregory voice lines, and yeah, just look at the top result. I haven't looked this up specifically. I don't remember exactly what I looked up, but it should be basically the same thing. The top result is just a straight image with the voice lines playing in the background. Okay, did the person that uploaded that video need to do anything more than that? No, not really. But it's really annoying to not know exactly what I'm listening to, right? I wanted to find all the used voice clips. I didn't want to go for the unused voice clips. So I was strictly going with the ones I remembered hearing, which meant that I missed a couple in there somewhere. But, so yeah, that was also kind of difficult. But, so like, it's a straight image. I'm trying to, crop that video down to just the voice that I want to use. Thing is, I have to go to a YouTube comment to find the timestamp of where that voice line starts, instead of just being like in the video itself innately and inherently, which makes it a bit more cumbersome, a bit more annoying to do that. And I actually found 2 compilations on YouTube that I was using for Landmark Freddy's voice clips. The first one was not complete and had no timestamps in the comments, which meant I would have to have listened to the entire thing and memorized or wrote down somewhere the timestamps of all the ones, despite the fact I was trying to avoid the unused ones because I didn't want to use those. So that was just annoying. I found another one. Oh yeah, that one. Okay, that one also. Both of them just straight images. At least the second one was much more complete and had timestamps in the comments, which again was just really annoying. All of the Gregory ones, I think, I don't know how many of the Freddy ones were all ones taken from a YouTube video, and I did not have the straight audio file, which would have been so much easier if I could look at that, see what the audio file was named, and know what I was listening to. Annoying. It's just cumbersome. It was just cumbersome, really. And overall, is the video good? It's better than the first one. I actually, the last thing I did with the video was the sense mixing for the 2 to the 1 to the 1 to the 3. Or was it 2 to the 1 to the 1 to the 2? It's one of those things. That was the last thing I did, and it didn't turn out very good. I think someone else has made a better version of that sense mixing, though. I'm kind of jealous. But it's the best I could find for that one, so whatever. And I want to talk about the engineer from Team Fortress 2. That was part of my initial idea on this, and it was, to me, it's kind of like a cool little funny reference or callback to my But Unbearable video. Like, are you having fun yet? Nope. It's kind of funny, isn't it? Whatever. After that would come Rob Cantor jump scare. Why did I make this video again? I don't remember. I know I already had the security breach, jump scare sound effect on hand, which means I accidentally wrote down Michael's Rabid Sparks of Hope in the wrong place. Oopsies. Yeah, that would, okay. Michael's Rabid Sparks of Hope started before Rob Cantor jump scare. I'll get that, though, after this one. But, yes, I just had to go get the ambience, and that's basically it. I mean, the video is easy to find. It's a dumb meme. If I had a nickel for every time I made a jump scare from someone from Tally Hall, I would have 3 nickels. Which isn't a lot, it's weird that happened 3 times. Yeah, I forgot to mention I had 2 Joe Hawley jump scares. One in Ultimate Tally Hall Fan Quiz, the other one in Joe Hawley Power Route. So that's something. I guess. Then Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. At the time of me saying this, I'm still currently undergoing that, and I can say at the very least, it's taking forever. It's taking much longer than I would really like it to. If I had been able to do an episode every day, I probably would be done with the game at this point. But I'm not, and it's unfortunate, really, that I've not been able to record as many episodes as I'd like to, and it's being very spotty with my uploads. Yeah, but this is kind of an interesting conundrum with this. Same thing with Security Breach for last year's retrospective. I think I forgot to mention the fact that last year I avoided talking about it because at that point I only uploaded like 8 episodes, and the 8th one, oddly enough, is like the most popular episode at this point. I'm not sure why. Laundry Room Run, man. I don't know why people watch that video. I'm pretty sure it's a guide to help beat the laundry room. It's also become the most disliked video on my channel, in case you're wondering. Couldn't tell you why, though. I don't know. I'm guessing, really, it's probably because they want to find a guide. But I did not give them a guide. And I tried to alleviate them comments at one point. Like, giving a comment what they needed to do. I should probably go back and edit that to be more specific. But yeah, there's a little fun fact for you. But in my year 1 retrospective, I avoid talking about the game because I 8 episodes at that point, and really all I could tell you at that point, all I could say was like, I'm playing the game, hope I beat it. I had nothing to mention. And same thing here, I've got more episodes. I already have a consistent conversational topic, which is like trivia about American presidents and America in general sometimes. But I haven't finished it yet, and I don't really know what more to say. But really all I can say is that the uploading is very spotty. I'm sorry about that, and I don't want it to be that way. Not great episodes all the time, but there's maybe some decent things happening. It's maybe a little bit repetitive or something. I'm not the greatest at coming with the off-the-wall commentary sometimes, but it's whatever. Maybe I'll talk about that next year. And then we have Ross Fetterman versus FNAF fan. So, one day I managed to find myself listening to one of the Tree Town Sound interviews with Ross. You know, I'm assuming you know I'm assuming you know what I'm talking about, but I mean, you probably don't. That's the thing. It's a radio interview, in case you're wondering. And I was listening to one of them, and I wasn't planning on listening to the whole thing, but I ended up listening to it all anyway. And it's just kind of for a thing. I wanted to find the most recent one I could find. So I found one that was the most recent one at that time, and I listened to it. And they began to get on the topic of, like, big breaks, or, like, you know, kind of history, like, big famous things that happened to Tally Hall. First thing Ross mentioned, was Banana Man. Like, back in, like, the days before YouTube, that was one of the bigger ones. And then after that, he mentioned, specifically, Turn the Lights Off. And he talked about fan videos of something he called, was it Friday Night at Freddy's, which he couldn't remember if it was a TV show or a game. He was more leaning towards the TV show. I'm saying what he was talking about, but like, the game, the way he was talking about it, but like, he mentioned like, what is it? Is it a TV show? Okay, a couple things happened with that. Basically, the first time I listened to that, I had to stop for a minute, just kind of, you know, just kind of playfully, just thinking, holy crap, he just talked about that. He mentioned that. He knows what this is. Oh crap. I gotta deal with that now. And I knew, also, I had to meme that. There's something I had to do to meme that video. To meme him saying that. And I began to get thinking. My first thoughts were kind of some spoof off of the line from Welcome to Tally Hall, where Stereosonic were animatronic. Maybe, like, have some, like, you know, weird echoey audio of Ross saying that in the background in, like, his first game office, and he, like, appears in one of the windows or something. There really wasn't a punchline to that. So I needed something better. After a while of thinking, I came up with the idea of, like, some kind of verbal fight. I initially saw in my head Soy Jacks, but the kind of thing I was going for kind of fit with, like, Patrick. And that's what I went with. So it's a verbal fight, kind of like almost Smash Bros-esque in a way. between Ross and the FNAF fan. And he's beating them up because he doesn't, through the use of it, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He didn't know the name, he can't remember if it's a game or a TV show. And that's kind of the joke. Now, something happened with this video that I'm not happy about. And it was, I was working on it, pulled a file that caused my editing program to crash. The file just almost immediately caused it to crash. Okay, that's weird. Open it back up as a temporary file and pull the file out again. It crashes again. Okay, open up my editing program again, and it didn't save a temporary file. I have nothing now. Decent ways into the video, about 15 seconds of video edited at that point, and I lost all of it. I had all the pieces, sure, but all of a sudden it just, for some reason, that file would crash, making Ross Fedman vs. FNAF fan the third video I have had to restart editing on. The first one was Why Super Mario Sunshine, the bad one, but that one was probably due to my inexperience. I didn't know what I was doing and something going wrong, so I just threw it all out and started over on my own dime, on my own, I did that on purpose. Of course, Pikmin 2 previously unused content, that died and exploded, and this one also just kind of imploded, rather. So yeah, I wasn't happy about that. I was in fact very not happy about that. I was quite irritated at that, in fact. And I did a lot of experiments with the files, and no matter what, that file and some other ones would cause my editing program to crash. For some reason. And these files were recordings of, the stuff from the sound tests of Smash Ultimate. So, okay, it's weird. I go back, I delete the file, I go back, reopen up Smash Brothers and recording stuff, and re-record those files, name it a different file name. Alright, go back out, and it causes the editing program to crash again. Which is also bizarre. It's a different file, right? Why would it cause it to crash? And that was just so bizarre. It crashed many more times because I kept, pulling out files that caused it to crash. And no matter what I did, if I took straight recordings of me and a sound test of Smash Brothers, it would, all but one of them at some point caused it to crash. Even after editing, after figuring all this stuff out, I got another file that didn't crash earlier to start crashing as well. What? Computers, man, they're supposed to make technology's supposed to make your life easier, but in this case, it's more, now it's like I'm old or something. I'm not like 60 years old, trust me. So, I worked around it by screen recording the video file I had taken. That didn't crash. It's the exact same information, more or less. It's a different file, which didn't matter earlier. By all accounts, it should crash as well, but it didn't. And I am befuddled, and I'm confused, perplexed even, as to why that is. I don't know, but I was pretty irritated at that, though. Quite annoyed. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. I still have the Ross me I made for the Smash Ultimate ending, though. I still have that saved. I don't know, I'm not gonna use it for anything, it's just still there. Anyway, after that comes that soldier-ass phone guy. An idea I had in my head for quite some time prior. Decided to sit down and make it. Yeah, it's basically just that. I did find a voice clip I had not thought of, though, beforehand, which was someone jumps at me, they're hitting the ground in pieces. That voice clip, I listened to that, I saw it, I listened to it, and knew I had to use this one because it fit pretty well. But it's basically just Soldier as the phone guy for the Night 4 of the first game. He dies. You know, I think it fits pretty well. It kind of sounds dumb, maybe kind of stupid initially, but when you remember there's voice clips that about, like, the robots are attacking the gate, the robots are at the gate, and, like, get a haircut, trash cans, like, those voice clips, in this context, I think could work pretty well, and I think it does. I think it does work pretty well. Now, I actually did try to find some footage of the first game to use here, and if I need to find footage of a game, and I don't really know where to look, speedruns, I think, are a good place to look. I'm gonna burp again. Excuse me, I'm kind of making loud on purpose, sometimes. It's gross, right? That's why it's funny. And I looked at one speedrun, it had a big old fat timer and split thing on the side, and yeah, I couldn't use that, so I didn't mind looking after that. Just why bother? Maybe there's other ones with less prominent speedrun timers and stuff like that, but yeah, who cares? Not gonna bother. But I bothered once, and that was it. After that comes Pikmin 2 pre-release unused content part 2.5, the music. Now, chronologically speaking, part 3 comes before this, as I was making part 3 and then made part 2.5 because of part 3. When I was writing the video, there was actually less music on the Cutting Floor subpage for Pikmin 2's unused music than there was when I went back to go get the footage. Now, there was already, I think I already had the files downloaded, but it doesn't really hurt to go back and go look at them again to get the information there, because there was information there that I needed to put in the video that, I didn't remember. And looking, there was stuff added to that subpage that was after I had initially written the script for part 3. And there was a lot more stuff, and I initially kind of tried to put it into part 3. But I figured I'd probably add like another 2 hours to the video, and the video was already gonna be like over an hour long anyway. I didn't want like 2/3 of the video to be unused music. So I just yoinked it from part 3 and put it into its own thing. Like, I literally just like directly picked up all those files and put it into its own thing. Thus part 2.5. The reason I call it part 2.5 because chronologically in order of release, this was between part 2.3. Part 2 and part 3, not part 2.3. Although technically this should be part like 3.5 or something. So it ended up being like 3.5 hours. Like 3.5 hours. Not 2, 3.5 hours of unused music, because it's not formatted in the way I really would want it to be, because of the source for most of that stuff is just kind of like some guy in a modded version of Pikmin 2 messing around in a level trying to get all the different, variations to play. And I would have much preferred to have gotten like a straight audio file with like the one version playing once, other version playing after that, etc, 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 until it goes through all of that stuff. Would have been much easier that way. And here we just got like, basically for most parts, like 10 straight minutes of this one version of this song playing, and all the variations kind of like sporadically playing within that. And so it's probably why it might take so long. Think about the other way though, just like one version playing once through, and then when it loops, change to a different one. That might actually make it take longer, but it's much more complete that way. So, yeah, it's 3.5 hours long. It's actually not the longest video on my channel. That distinction goes to a different video, which I'll get to eventually. Then we have Pikmin 2 pre-release unused content part 3, the final game. This one felt almost legendary to me, because it took me like 5 months to make this video after part 2. And it just, to me, kind of felt like one of those things that like, oh, how is it coming along? Oh, it's gonna release eventually. And like, never does, to me. Like, I don't know, Pikmin 4, Duke Nukem Forever or something. Like, just that kind of like, when's it gonna come out? When it's ready. And I eventually did finish the final game. Now, there were points which I got really, really tired of working on the video and just didn't, because I didn't work on Pikmin 2 when I used content like maybe about a year at that point, basically straight. And it had been on my mind to some degree since I started working on it, and I knew I had to do it. And I wanted to get that one out of the way before I started working on other videos, and I was just tired of working on it. I just didn't want to do it, but I always told myself I have time to finish it later. I want to get done before the end of the year, and man, the goals, the release dates I had in my head for these things were just, they kept not being hit. The original Pikmin 2 pre-release unused content, like, that one I felt might have come out, like, by March. Maybe something like that, maybe March, after I started working on it. Didn't hit that. It was, like, some, like, it shouldn't have taken me that long to do, to be honest. Like, if it had taken me, let's say, 2.5 weeks to edit it, still that's, like, 2.5 months of work. It wouldn't have taken, you know, like, 6 months to have made the video. But I didn't know that. And then, for part 3 here, this one, there's so many times I want to get this one done. Like, it should take me, like, maybe a month to have done all this stuff, maybe 2 months at most, and it took me 5. And it really shouldn't have. Because I was just being lazy and just didn't want to work on the video anymore. But I wanted to get this video done before the end of the year. I was hunkering down to do that. I needed this video done before the end of the year so I could talk about it here. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to talk about it here. And I did. Hallelujah, I finished it. Now, part 2.5 did kind of do something. When I had finished part 2.5, it took like a day or two, maybe like 2 days at most, 2 or 3 days or something to do that. I can't remember how long. I finished on a Wednesday, like right after the first Tuesday of the month, which I wasn't going to wait till the third Tuesday in the month because that is the last uploading, you know, day for the month, and this is December, the year. So I just kind of just put it at that Wednesday, right afterwards. Right after the day I wanted to upload it. So let's just, you know, say, for all intents and purposes, it kind of hit that. I wasn't going to wait. Exactly, because I knew Pikmin 2 Pro Unused Content Part 3, the final game had to be that last Tuesday in December. Or third Tuesday in December. It had to be. It had to be, and finally finished it. Over a year of this, since that project had been started, I finished the video. Glorious. Glorious. Now as for the video itself, towards the end of the writing for that video, there were times where it's just like, okay, I wanted to write something every single day. I'd done that for the original video. And there were times where I was tired, I'd been working on something else, I kind of forgot, and I go in the script, you know, write like a paragraph or two, and go back, do something else. It should have taken me like 30-something days, 31 days to have written all that. It took me like 24 for the original video script, and that one, granted, was like maybe a little bit shorter. That was 52 pages. Literally, it was 52 pages of script. It was like 12-point font, then for some reason switched to 11-point font later on in the script. I don't know why, but like basically standard font size. And that was 52 pages. I don't know how many pages all of these parts put together are. I really should have looked at that. But yeah, it took me a long time to write it because I just kind of got tired of writing it. Or just really wasn't noticed or cared all that much, I guess. But yeah, Pikmin 2 pre-release unused content overall was a different kind of video. Normally, I kind of try to be humorous in my videos and maybe informative at the same time. Like humorous, number one, and informative second. This one was strictly, number one, informative. I wanted to talk about and show people the unused content and the pre-release content of Pikmin 2. So the writing and the editing of this video was much more function than form. It worked, did what it needed to do, and I wasn't trying to be flashy or funny with it because well, these videos are, you know, on average about an hour long. I couldn't write that many jokes in there, and I couldn't do that many different gags and stuff like that. I did do a couple, you know, it's because I like doing that, but really it's, I was trying to be more just informative. Remember that. Then after that, a video I made just yesterday, which I mentioned why I was looking at the save files for Security Breach. That is a security guard. In fact, I made that video and uploaded it just yesterday. Well, that means I should be able to talk about that video pretty well. First things first, let's talk about the thumbnail, get that out of the way. So, I was on the wiki, trying to get an image off the wiki. there was one image that I felt could have worked the best off the wiki. I mean, again, I would have screen recorded these things, but oh well. But there was a watermark on that image. There was a watermark on it. I didn't even recognize the watermark. It must have been a custom watermark. Who watermarks images to put on a wiki? Who does that? Who puts their own watermark on an image to put on a wiki? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Oh, speaking of the wiki, one more thing to say about the wiki? Yeah, one more thing, yeah. They got some of the stupidest things I've ever seen. Just dumb things, and they read into things too hard sometimes. Like, it's not filled to the brim with a bunch of dumb stuff, but like there's things that they just kind of, I just kind of have to think, what? Why would you think that? But yeah, like I said, they read too hard into these things sometimes. And I think it's kind of just how this franchise works. You know, it kind of conditions you to do that. But yeah, there's things there they're just kind of dumb, I guess. For an example, I guess I'm also giving an example. The page for the daycare attendant. It lists there that a reason why he might have like bells on his wrists is to help visually impaired children get around. Let that sink in, I guess. Now let me just say, what? What? Why would you think that? Like, that makes no sense. Okay, so like, okay, I mean, I suppose if you really wanted to humanize this, and I really sat down to think about how the entirety of this world works outside of, you know, what happens in the games and stuff like that, well, then you could maybe think like that. But for Pete's sake, that is ridiculous. That's dumb. Do you really honestly think that whoever it was that sat down, whoever that guy's name is or whatever, who designed those characters, really put bells on them for the specific purpose of thinking, okay, so how would this place work normally? Well, there might be blind children around here, and, well, we'll give this guy bells so that way, you know, he can make sounds to, you know, lure the blind children around. That way they know how to get around, they don't bump into everything. Do you really think whoever designed those characters was thinking that? That's dumb. That's just kind of dumb. You know, it's ridiculous. It also does say that maybe to kind of fit in with the kind of like gesture, that's what the word they use, kind of like the style and aesthetic of the character, which makes much more sense. And it's also not a trivia point, because that's where it is. It's in the trivia section of that page. That's not trivia. That's just a notice that's not really interesting. Okay. But on the subject of wiki and trivia, I like useless trivia. I like it. If you put useless trivia in front of me, I'm gonna take it, no matter where it came from. Probably, at least. But yeah, so like, yeah, they've got weird, dumb things there. I guess if I give another example, I know I'm going on a tangent here. In the files for the game, apparently, all the characters, not all the characters, but like there's like shattered variants of the characters, which I think is the official term, actually. And Vanessa's shadow form is Vanny. Makes sense, I guess. You're reading a little bit too hard on that, though. I think from a logical standpoint, from like, you know, a standpoint, if Vanessa is a character in the game that can kill you as much as all the other ones do, then it would make, and if they have shattered variants, it makes sense for there to be one here. Now, was it completely necessary? Probably not. But like, to me, it's just a very simple reusing of logic and code to do that. You're reading too far into these things, man. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. So yeah, the thumbnail. So I tried to get an image from the stuff I recorded for the video. I tried to brighten it up a bit, but it didn't look so good. So I decided, okay, let's go back and for my replay on the game, get the scene from the elevator. Yeah, I still didn't get that scene from the trailer. I wonder where that went. Question for the ages, I suppose. Use that, and yeah, I got that image. I was gonna crop it to, you know, fit the screen a little bit better. And I shrunk it down quite a bit, and I was moving it around, and accidentally let go, like, squarely on her face. Like, squarely on her face. But I was probably gonna, you know, planning on, like, you know, moving around the little crop section there, because, like, you can shrink what you want to see, and you can move it around within the image. And I was gonna probably expand it a bit to better fit what I wanted for, but the fact that it let go squarely on her face in that zoomed in fashion, it was the perfect amount of mildly uncomfortable. And it was fantastic. It was a complete accident. It was not supposed to look like that, but it was perfect. So I took it, I used it. Anyway, on to the video itself. I was watching a meme compilation yesterday morning, and it featured the spy from Team Fortress 2 saying, "Don't you know how to make a grilled cheese?" or whatever he says. I think what he says. And I thought it's funny. I mean, I've seen it before because the meme compilation, 95% of the memes in the meme compilation, even like 97, 98%, on average, are going to be reused memes. And I guess I've got to thinking, how can I make my own version? I thought about this, I guess. Whatever. So, I kind of lost my train of thought there. So yeah, I had to go back and record some footage for the game. I had to start a new save file for it, because I knew the beginning of the game, and I wanted it without any captions. So I had to turn them off, and I forgot to turn the captions back on, actually. I might have to remember that. I'm gonna have to remember that, probably. And and when editing, I went back and recreated the captions. You might not notice that, though, because I basically perfectly recreated the captions as seen in the game. The exact font, the exact border around the font, the exact spacing between the lines. And the exact placement as well. Except for the line on top, the one with James May. I don't know if I placed that exactly where the game would place the two lines on top of each other, but it seemed close enough. Yeah, I can't remember what the name of the font is, though. I could probably put it on screen if I remember. But yeah, so yeah, the captions are post-production, I guess. And so that's why it looks so perfect. And that's why that's why the spy is in there. Because, okay, there's no way I could mod the game to get that to happen. But yeah, and when I was thinking about the video, I was listening to the grilled cheese, I thought, cheese meme, put that in there. Put it in there, and I guess it worked. I probably should have made James May saying cheese a bit louder, because when I was listening to it, I couldn't quite hear the spy underneath, so I bumped up the audio for that one, and now the spy is too loud. Actually, though, James May's just too quiet. But anyway, so, yeah, it's a dumb little meme. Dumb, stupid, little meme, I guess. And then that leaves this video, and welcome to another recording. Same day, third one, but okay, so yeah, this video, year 2 anniversary retrospective. Well, it's kind of an interesting thing to talk about this year, because I'm still, in the process of making the video. I have more to talk about than my year 1 retrospective, because I've been editing the video in the downtime, so I have a little bit more to mention. Namely, I've been noticing there's been some weird, like, popping or clicking or whatever going on with the music in the background. I don't know why that happens. It only happens, like, maybe half of the time. If I hear it, I'll go back and get rid of it, but as far as I know, like, this thing's gonna pop like crazy when it gets to YouTube, but who knows? I would wait and see. Now, I guess the thumbnail. Talk about the thumbnail, I guess. I know I watched the Purple Pikmin 2 clay art. I haven't made the thumbnail yet, but I know it's what I want. I'm probably gonna, more likely than not, absolutely gonna be using the same little Easter egg I did with my year 1 retrospective thumbnail, except I don't have 3 different fonts to choose from. I have Lucidia Bright and Century, which is what I am using for Mario + Rabbids Sparks of Hope. So I'm probably gonna go with Lucidia Bright twice, or I might have to find some, like, random third one or something, I don't know. Whatever, but I know I want that Purple Pikmin 2 clay out, because it's just what I want. I knew it basically at the beginning of this year, that's what I wanted, and I guess it kinda, maybe has, like, a kind of a dual purpose, you could argue. It's like, it's Purple Pikmin, but at the same time, it's like, it's a purple Pikmin, right? It's a funny reference to, purple guys. Purple Pikmin, purple guy, right? They kill things really easily. Never even know what hit them. And they're purple. But mostly just the purple Pikmin thing. Mostly just the Pikmin thing, right? But I guess about this video specifically, I don't know, it's going on a lot longer than I thought it would. My year 1 retrospective was not even an hour long, and this is gonna hit 3. I don't know why, though. I have a lot to talk about, apparently. And not to mention the fact I've been forgetting a lot of things to say. Like, about thumbnails and small details. Like, for example, I know I could have put this in the video, but I'm going to talk about it here instead. For FNAF Slander, I had the idea of calling it FNAF Slander, but in all lowercase, any capitals. I don't know, it's just an idea I had. Stuff like that. I don't know. This is not a complete list, by the way. And other stuff I forgot to mention in my year 1 retrospective, but I think I forgot what those were. So if I don't do it now, I'm gonna forget. Oh well. Yeah. Someone wanted to mention about my playthrough on Security Breach. I don't know. Some about, like, starting in year 1, but also counting as a year 2. Okay, I do count as, like, year 1 Let's Play, and I guess, like, by extension, because so much happened in year 2, I'm gonna count as a year 2 one as well, but mostly it's year 1 to me. Year 1 to me. But I guess it's kind of both. Whatever. Now, I guess a thing I should maybe mention I've wanted to do this year, because don't really have a better time to do this, or say this, is, like, once or twice this year, I've wanted to do a video series of me reading fanfictions. Now, I've wanted to do this ever since I stopped doing Mario Galaxy, or maybe even during Mario Galaxy. Because I talk a lot about fanfictions over there. And I've wanted to read them for YouTube, and the problem is, the fanfictions I get are off of Wattpad.com. For better or worse, I don't know your opinion on it. And, you know, I've read their terms of service, and they say that you can't make derivative works unless you get the author's permission. And I'm pretty sure YouTube videos count as derivative works, so as much as I would have loved to go in there and just yoink anyone off of the site and read it for YouTube, I don't think they'd want me to do that. I mean, okay, they're in Canada, I think, and I'm not Canadian, you know, I have rights, but, so maybe their courts can't get me, maybe the legal team can't get me, but they probably have a US-based legal team, so that means I'm not free. Crap. I wanted to do that, though. I haven't worked up the courage to, like, you know, basically waltz up to somebody and say, hey, you know that thing you wrote? I want to make fun of that. Yeah, basically what I'm trying, like, kind of would be trying to do is to, like, you know, find a fan fiction, kind of a lower end one, and read that and kind of, like, poke fun at it. Now, I don't want to, like, poke fun at the person who wrote that. Just want to say, hey, this is written in a kind of weird way. Like, learn grammar or something. Maybe not that harsh. But, okay, I wanted to do the element, and not a very fruitful endeavor thus far. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. I don't know. But for this video specifically, I don't know. I can't really think of much more to say about this video. Other than I've been working on it while recording it. I mean, not right now, obviously. I'm just sitting here talking to a microphone. But, you know, editing, stuff like that. I already mentioned that, I know, but I'm just saying it anyway, because I don't know what else to say right now. Maybe go on to the next thing? I guess I could do that. So, even though this is the last video of the year, I already have some other videos set up to upload. One, actually, and I'm already working on another one. So it's going to be kind of a hard thing to talk about, because I'm in the process of making it. I guess I did it for this video, so whatever. Next would be Pikmin 2, pre-release unused content, the whole saga. Ever since the very beginning, I knew I would, at the end, take all 3 parts, put them together, and make what the original video would have been. It's poetic in a way. I'm coming full circle and making what I envisioned making the first time around. Remember when I said that part 2.5 was not the longest video on my channel? This one is, by far. This one clocks in at 6.5 hours. 6.5 hours of Pikmin 2 pre-release unused content, and 3.5 of those hours are the unused music. All said and done, 3 hours about straight is just the unused content. Over half the video is unused music. Not much I could do about that. Now this is also the one video I knew I had a misspelling, but I didn't fix it. Mostly because I was lazy. Look, I'm gonna be frank with you here. That's because I was lazy. I didn't want to, like, risk going back and doing this. I'll explain. Okay, the risk thing, I think that's kind of a justification I came up with later. But the thing is with Pikmin 2 Plus Onions content, like I mentioned, it's 6.5 hours long, and the original video exploded at 3 hours long. This is over double that length. I'm very nervous about that. Now, they're not a huge risk, because with that video, all I did was just take the other parts and just mash them together. If that video exploded, I had the other parts, they didn't die. They wouldn't die, probably. Now, I did for part 1 and part 2, and part 2.5, they were all just video files, and I mashed them all into the editing file for part 3. Now, with part 1 and part 2 specifically, I made a couple tweaks to them. Actually, this video overall just has a couple, I can count on one hand the amount of changes I made. It's probably like 3 overall or something, depending on how I want to count it. Maybe 4. Because, actually, it might be about 4, I'd say. Actually, the change was to part 3, not part 1. Whether it's, I edited 2 and 3, because part 1 was the beginning, didn't really matter, in a way that I could easily go back and, like, put the 2 together. Or put the 3 together, and, you know, we went one big continuous block. I edited it in that way specifically. And then I went back and I converted them back to video files just so I wouldn't have to put all, like, the editing files together. That's a lot of files that had to be kept track of, and that's when, you know, it would go, you know, bytes are going everywhere. It's a bloodbath. So, because this video was 6.5 hours long, I was getting really, really nervous that this thing was just going to die, and I didn't want to do that. But there were changes I made. Actually, yeah, because part 2.5 had a lot of timestamps, and that was just a video file, I couldn't, like, directly change anything in the video. Like, maybe I could have, like, went back and forth between the editing files for, like, the whole thing in part 2.5, and, yeah, changed the, timestamps of what it would have been, but that would have been a lot of work. A lot more work than it really needed to be. I just took the straight video file and blotted out all of the timestamps and replaced them with the correct ones. Now, when doing this, I did make a mistake towards the very end of that video, part 2.5 specifically, that section, which I accidentally left the stuff underneath. This is past all the timestamps, stuff like that, but I accidentally left the stuff that I blotted out. I'll show for a second. I don't know how that happened. There was some misspellings in that part 2 of the text. I didn't notice until after I made the video, but the misspelling I noticed in the video. I noticed it after I started converting it to a video file, but it wasn't too long in the process of doing that, so I could have easily went back and changed it, but I didn't want to bother doing that because I was lazy. But also, the justification was that I felt this thing was so precarious, I didn't want to go back and risk doing anything more than I already had to. Because then this thing, you know, would explode and I had to go back and do it all over again. Again, not losing a whole lot, just had to put all the pieces, very large pieces, back together. Yeah. I did make a change to the thing with Arboreal Frippery, correcting the mistake of thinking it was a marijuana leaf. It's not. Now, it's very confusing. But the file name for the Arboreal Frippery is Momiji_normal, and Momiji translates to maple. So it's more likely than not actually a Japanese maple leaf, not a marijuana leaf as I was originally saying that it was. So I cut that out of the video. Yeah, all that fun stuff. Then, the video I'm currently working on besides this one, so I'm dating this spectacularly, is a revised FNAF Security Breach review. Now, what the heck is that about? Well, allow me to explain. What do you think I'm gonna do? I think I'm gonna just, like, I don't know, breathe for the next 5 minutes? No, I'm gonna explain it. So, remember all that stuff I said about the original review video? All the things that went wrong with it, and all the problems it had? That's why I'm remaking the video. I even say so in the video itself, that I'm there to rectify the mistakes of the previous video, so that's why I'm doing this. That was half the reason I did extra episode number 6 for my playthrough, just to go back and re-experience the game. It straddles the line between, the video does, between being a sequel and being a remake. It's kind of both. It's outwardly a remake. It's stated in the video to be a remake of the original video because I wanted to fix it, but it's kind of treated at the same time as a sequel, because I do things in the video with kind of respect to the original video. Because, you know, I can't be, I mean, I acknowledge the original video's existence, so thus, this video has to be a sequel by that standard. Is it a good standard? I don't know. And I don't actually do any of like, trying to find a category in there, because, you know, really, I already have the categories. I don't need to find them again. I do read a couple things from that video, and looking at the original video for this, there's probably some things I could have more things I could have reused, actually, looking at that. So, I guess this video, this retrospective here was, a good thing or a bad thing for that? I don't know. I mean, I've already wrote the videos, it's kind of too late for that. I mean, I could go back and rewrite it if I need to, that's a possibility. Now, I'm still in the process of recording it and editing it, but allow me to tell you how I've tried to fix those problems. So the editing, or the writing, sorry, I try to make things be explained more visually. I try to put more stuff on screen. I got some ideas for that I was going to put in there and stuff I've already put in there and that kind of stuff. And I remember one time, about, I can't remember how long it was, but for the record, I think I wanted to remake this video about a month after it came out. It was another long line of, not a long line, but I wanted to do video remakes since the beginning of this year. But I was too busy not doing that, doing a Let's Play, so I didn't do that. I wanted to do, like, Where's Pikmin 4 and 3D Mario's Power Up Problem were videos I wanted to remake. Where's Pikmin 4, though, is now, thankfully, outdated, so maybe it's a good thing I didn't remake that video, I don't know. But this was another remake. I'm doing this one first, I guess. So, one time, I was running this video in my head, and man, that was a good video. It was written well, it was, you know, the dialogue was fantastic, it was edited well, of course, it was in my head. Most of it was in my head, so it's perfect there. It's a perfect fantasy land, for the most part. But, that was the record, that was the thing I wanted to reach. Now, did I reach it with this video? I don't think so, but it's certainly, I think in the end, the remake will be at least a bit better than the original video. Now, so the recording the stuff, I am employing a new method, in which if I mess up, I don't stop the entire recording, delete that file, go back and start it again, and mess it up again, repeat ad nauseum. I am simply, you know, if I mess up a line, I just re-say the line in the correct way, and I edit out the part I messed up. Now, that does mean things that are sounding kind of funky in the video. It's not perfect, but I think it's working a little bit better at the very least on my end. As for the product, I'm not too sure yet, but whatever. The editing, it's just, well, I have more stuff to do with that. More stuff to look at and all that kind of stuff, so I think it's going, again, I think it's going to end up being better. But I really shouldn't be talking about this video because I'm not finished with it yet. Maybe I can do it next year. Yeah, that's something. Anything more to mention with this video? I don't really think so. So, it's that time again. Oh boy. It's time for scrapped videos. Now, going into this year, I didn't expect to have to scrap videos. But I actually do kind of have a lengthy list of scrap videos here. Most of them are pretty small, like meme videos, to be honest. But I do have some. Now, there is an interesting little thing here, is that I have finished some videos. I finished them, but I never uploaded them. I shared them with some people, but I never uploaded them to YouTube. Now, for all intents and purposes here, I will not be counting those as scrap videos, because I went in with an idea to make them, and I made them. Pretty, very, very simple things. So, technically not scrap, but whatever. There is one here that kind of straddles the line a little bit. I'll get to that one. But there is one of those videos I will mention. That one kind of got scrapped. Anyway, I'm getting off track here. Let's get into this. Okay. Save that one for the last, or second to last, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. Welcome to a video called Welcome to Trolley Hall. This is at April 11th, I remember. So during my 3-month gap of not uploading, I wanted to do a full Tally Hall X Troll Face meme, even though it had long since died, of Welcome to Tally Hall. I would have called it Welcome to Trolley Hall. Now, a Tally Hall X Troll Face version of Welcome to Tally Hall does exist by the name of Welcome to Tally Troll, but it's not the full song. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make the full song. So instead of, like, getting the song and captioning it first, I instead tried to find GIFs, which apparently that's how they're pronounced, and images of Trollface. And I knew it would be difficult. So that's why I started with that first. I wasn't going to go through all the effort of trying to caption the song if what I was going to use it for wasn't going to come to fruition. And I got, like, 3 things in total before I was like, yeah, this is going to be too hard, and I gave up. Now, it was a good idea. If the flame burned brightly, but for such a short amount of time, an hour and a half, 30 minutes, something, I don't even remember. But it was born and dead in the same day. I got kind of like a burr, pun not really intended, in my saddle. Do it sometime later, but I didn't bother trying with that one. I knew it would be way too hard. I still kind of like the idea, but again, it'd be difficult. Next as a long one. A very long story with that one, so I'm going to skip that one for right now. Moving to, yeah, let's talk about that one. The largest video that I kind of scrapped. So, I've talked and said, and I've written plenty of times in my life the letters in order of Pikmin 2 pre-release unused content. I have spoken, written, said the same thing, like written, typed that specific phrase of letters so many times in my life already. But I like that. I like Pikmin 2 pre-release unused content, and I made that, and I've had the idea to do this not just for Pikmin 2, but for other games. Games like Mario Galaxy, which would be a huge beast. That's like equivalent, if not more, to Pikmin 2. You know, the original Pikmin, or Pikmin 3, all games I could at some point do pre-release unused content for. I want that to be a series. But I had the idea for one game in particular, one that I know pretty well for this year. And I knew that one had plenty of unused content. Now, I had never looked at it, and I still haven't at this point in my life, but I know through the grapevine, more or less, that there's quite a bit of stuff there. And I had the idea to do a Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach pre-release and unused content. That seemed like a good idea for so long. It seemed like a good idea for so long. Until it didn't. Now, I never started working on the video because I was already busy with Pikmin 2 pre-release and unused content. There it is again. But it just seemed like the next logical step to me, like another good option to cover at some point. Maybe the next one, because I don't get out of the way or something. But eventually, over time, I began to think about it, and I began to second-guess myself on a part of the video. It's whether or not it would be a good idea to do it. One part scared me a little bit, worried me a bit. Now, I would have broken this video up into parts, as I did with Pikmin 2, pre-release unused content, and all those parts. In similar fashion, you know, the pre-release, the prototype, there's a prototype for the game, and the final game. Unless maybe there's like maybe I could have done a version like a version 1.0 as part 3, and then like the final game as part 4 or something, I don't know. Who knows, because I know there's some wacky stuff got removed in past version 1.0, reduced the overall disc size of the game, but anyway. So, it's that. The final game, and everything that had to do with the final game, that's the part that kind of just didn't seem too right anymore. The reason is, and this is going to sound incredibly stupid, but I'm being honest with you here. I said this is real talk, so I'm going to be frank with you here. The reason is, I thought it would make me sad. Yep. Now, to get more specific, I had the feeling if I actually sat down and bothered to look at the unused content for this game, like, I've been on the Cutting Room Floor page before, but, like, just glancing at it, like, maybe twice in my entire life, just, like, scroll through, see, oh, that's a long page, and there's, like, 11 sub-pages there or something. That's a lot of sub-pages. Now, with that many sub-pages, there's probably some that are just pretty small, but that's a lot of sub-pages, so that means there's a lot of stuff there. And it's a long page in and of itself. So, I know there's a lot of stuff there, just from that, but, like, I felt if I actually sat down and looked at the stuff, then I'm gonna think to myself, man, this is cool. Like, this is cool. I like this. Why isn't this in the game? And then I'm gonna get disappointed. And I'm gonna think, man, why is it not in the game? That's sad. I'm gonna get disappointed. I'm gonna get sad. And if I were to do that and would do the video, then I'm gonna reach a point in which I'm not gonna want to make the video. I'm gonna be making it begrudgingly because I'm gonna have to think about all this cool stuff that's not in the game. Okay, I know it's super stupid. I know. I'm the one saying that. You don't have to say it yourself, but that's just what I felt would end up happening. You know, and I don't want to make a video that I just don't want to make. Now, there's times that Pikmin 2 plays on this content, I just didn't want to make it because I've been working on it for so long. But this is different. This is like almost innately I didn't want to do it. So that part is the catch. But the pre-release, the prototype, that could be better. Now, there's maybe still a risk that, you know, stuff could happen. But I think I'd have a better time going through the pre-release and going through the prototype of the game instead. Now, I still kind of want to do that. But overall, it's, kind of a, whatever. Stupid, I guess. Next is another video. It's a very short meme video. I called it, Tally Hall Security Breach. Oh, this one. Yeah, this is the one that kind of straddles the line between... Oh, I shared it with some people, but I didn't like it. I kind of still consider it scrapped. I saw a meme on YouTube that used the, like, first couple seconds of the Good Day music video on a TV, and I decided to make my own version, as I've said so many times already. I figured that, yeah, I know this TV screen's in this game, so do it there. And no matter what I did, I put a lot of work into it, but I couldn't get it to turn out right. It just looked wrong. And there really wasn't anything I could do to fix it. So, I made it. It was kind of about as quality as I could make it. But it wasn't great. So I just shared it with some people anyway. Kind of begrudgingly, I guess. And I think I'm gonna burp. Oh, excuse me. Holy smokes, man. Why am I burping so much in these videos? But yeah, that video was, it was not, yeah, I don't really know that one. Then comes... 2 videos. Meet the William Afton. Alright, so I decided to make another version of one of those videos, for better or worse. And I thought I could do it with Meet the Sniper. And, well, some kind of, I don't know, fashion of William Afton voice clips. I could maybe use that. And to be honest, it worked pretty well. I still have the video file before I gave up on it. It's not compressed. I can show it to you here or after I'm done talking with this or something. But so it in theory it would work very well. And that was actually the problem. It worked too well. There wasn't the Meet the Sniper is only like 1.5 minutes long, and there's not much to it. Like a lot of most of the stuff said in the video, under the context that it's supposed to be William Afton, becomes innately humorous. I've been saying innately a lot in this video. It becomes funny under that context. Right? Like, some for like I'm not a crazy gunman dad, I'm an assassin. Or like, my parents don't care for it. Or stuff like that, you know, under that context. But the thing is, that's like the entirety of Meet the Sniper. There's no opportunity for me to go in and like change some of the voice clips because most of it already works so well. I did kind of try to shoehorn some stuff in there, but ultimately I realized this really wasn't going to work out very well, so I just kind of gave up on it, really. Yeah, so then afterwards, I still wanted to make another one. So I tried one with Meet the Scout instead. I'll give you a second to think about, who would I use to replace the Scout? Now, admittedly, it's an idea. I had to use his voice earlier when I had ideas to replace the Scout. Thought it might work. Meet the Roxanne Wolf. Yeah, I scrapped this one, but I've had this one open for a long time. Like a tab open for that one, to look at the audio clips. like, I scrapped it, but I kind of want to still, like, go back and see if I could fix it. I haven't bothered to do that, though. So, I should probably just give up on that one. It's not really going to turn out very well. It really hasn't. So, I could probably play for this one, again, kind of a problem of I just didn't, there wasn't anything I could, what was the problem with this one, actually? I can't remember. I don't think it's anything to do with finding the voice clip, or finding things to replace. You know, that's kind of was kind of easy, but I think what I had a problem with was finding voice clips to replace the stuff in Meet the Scout with. That was the problem. Couldn't really find anything that worked. So, I might as well go ahead and play the 2 videos for you here. Remember, they're unfinished, so not a whole lot of stuff going on in those things.
Got you! Sniping's a good job, mate. It's challenging work, out of doors. I guarantee you'll not go hungry, because at the end of the day, long as there's 2 people left on the planet, I always come back. Not a crazed gunman, Dad. I'm an assassin. Well, the difference being one has a job and the other's mental sickness. I'll be honest with you. I can taste the fear in your breath. I think his mate saw me. Yes, he did. Feelings? Look, mate, you know there's a lot of feelings. Blokes would bludgeon their wife to death with a golf trophy. Professionals have standards. Be polite. Be efficient. Have a plan to kill everyone you meet. Dad, put Mum on the phone.
I don't even know where to start with you. I mean, do you even know who you're talking to?
Hey, kid.
Do you have any idea who I am? Basically, kind of a big deal.
Everyone loves you.
Are you listening? Okay. Grass grows, birds fly, sun shines, and brother, I hurt people. Boink! I'm a force of nature. Bonk! If you were from where I was from, you'd be
A loser.
Woo!
So, that leaves, like, 3 things to talk about. Which one do I choose first? Yeah, let's go with that one. One I had forgotten earlier. So this one was an idea I had on my mind for so long. For like so long. And I've never bothered to make it. There's times where I've kind of wanted to, but I've never bothered to. And basically, with this video, I could honestly just make the video right here in this video and upload that separately. I really could, and maybe I could do that. Maybe I should do that. I don't know. I might do that later. It might take some retakes, so I'm not gonna do it right here. But maybe if I get to that point, maybe after I'm done recording all this stuff here. But this one, how do I explain this? Oh, there's a story behind this one. It's weird. I don't even remember how I came up with the idea for this video. I just kind of did. The story is, I was watching the first trailer on Security Breach, and I watched it through. And there's the jump scare at the end, and that's why I needed to find the two trailers, because I thought that the scene with the mask and the jump scare at the end was the same trailer. No, I wanted specifically the jump scare at the end. The reason was because I had on my mind some just strange thing to say when that would happen in the game. Now, the idea to even get to, like, the idea to actually play the game itself kind of initially started as kind of a joke to me. Like, I kind of, like, just jokingly thought to myself, what if I actually played the game, right? What happened then? And eventually I got kind of serious with it, and I actually did. And this idea, I was back from, like, those days of, like, kind of jokingly saying that. And I had in my mind, if I ever was playing the game, and I got to a point in the game where I was, like, cornered or whatever, and, like, I was definitely going to die. And the person that was going to jump scare me was going to be Vanny. I would watch it happening, and as she approached, I would yell, "Oscillate for me, baby!" I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. The reason is because of that jump scare. It's oscillation. I have a problem. I have a personal disdain for jump scares that are just something quickly oscillating in front of your face. You're a jump scare, not a fan. Right, and I don't think they're very good. They're quite lame jump scares, if you ask me. Because they're just like, ooh, thing quickly moves in front of your face. Cool, fantastic, and that's what that jump scare was. Now, they changed it in the game, and arguably, it's actually worse. It's not oscillation, but it's more lame to look at, so whatever. But they changed, like I said, they changed the jump scare. I never got the opportunity to do that. Now, by the time I got to playing the game, I had kind of forgotten about that. But I'll guarantee, if the jump scare had not been changed, I would have remembered that, and at the next opportunity, I would have probably done that. So the name of the video was going to be in all caps, "Oscillate for me, baby," and the video idea was like taking the trailer. It was gonna be a lot of like just kind of in the trailer beforehand, and then right before the jump scare, I would go and yell that, and then the jump scare, and I'd be like, "Yeah, woo!" and stuff like that. So I'm probably gonna do that afterwards. I haven't looked at a trailer in a long time. Oh, last time I looked at it was just to look at the jump scare. I haven't seen it. I'm gonna go look at that again to make the video and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, probably gonna insert that in here then, and upload it separately. Oscillate for me, baby! Woo! Yeah! So that's the story behind that. It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre and strange. Like, I'm sorry, I guess? It's kind of funny, but it's just weird. It's just weird. Now that leaves, let's see here. Let's go with that one, the long one. The one I skipped. Remember back with But More Bearable? I talked about rule of everything? Now's the time. The ruler of everything meme I tried to make with this game. And it's maximum counting. One could argue there is 7 different versions of that video. 7. Now, I wouldn't really count it like that, but I'll explain. So, sometime after I finished But More Bearable, I can't remember how long, but sometime after, I decided to finally sit down and make the video. I had it in my head for a long time. I tried to put it in the video originally, and it was an even older idea than But More Bearable, so I just finally sit down and do it. Now, I gathered the complete demos version of the song. You probably can hear me saying that a lot, by the way. And I captioned it, which is where I got the captions for Pikmin's Real Everything 2. Now, I went back and, redid the captions for it with the higher effort ones, so that's specifically the higher effort captions are the ones in Pikmin's Real Everything 2, but I was going to use the normal ones for this video because I honestly just didn't feel like it was worthy of that. I think that was, verbatim what went through my head. So I began to fill out this video with footage. But the thing is, I had two conflicting ideas. Either I could be haha funny, or, as I'm going to call it, lean too far into it. I didn't really know which one to go with, so I just kind of filled out the video with footage of either context, kind of thinking I might think of something later, decide which one I wanted to go with. Eventually, though, I got the idea, the maybe perhaps fatal idea, to split the video into two. Make two versions of the same video. So I got the 2008 version of the song and captioned that. They said that super easily, I just captioned it. Takes me a couple hours to do that, But yeah, so I was more concerned with not reusing the same version of the song within a series rather than overall, because I already used the 2008 version back with the original Pikmin's Real Everything. But, this is not Pikmin's Real Everything, and I already had the idea for Pikmin's Real Everything 2, so whatever. I knew I wanted the complete demos for that one, so it didn't really bother me too much for reusing both. Why not the 2005 version? I just didn't really like that one at the time. It was the transitional time from, me not liking it too much to me liking it more. I don't know which version of the song I like more, to be honest. It's a tough call, I'm not going to answer it. So I captioned that, and I deemed the 2008 version to be the haha funny one. But then I got to thinking, again, what constitutes haha funny? There's two different things that go with that. There's haha funny point laughing at the game, and haha funny point laughing with the game. You see where this is going? I just split off into a second version. Why not into a third? Why not make 3 versions of the same video? That's a good idea, and that's not dumb and stupid at all. So that's what I did. I opened up a third version, reusing the complete demos version of the song, and I redeemed the first version of the video to be the haha funny laughing with the game. 2008 version was haha funny laughing at the game, and this third version of the video with also the complete demos was leaning too far into it. Now, I should maybe mention something about the song for that one. I'll get more into that later, but I actually eventually used a slightly different version of the complete demos one. There's actually four versions overall of Rule of Everything, studio recordings. There's complete demos, the alternate complete demos, the 2005-2008. And for this third version of the video, I was using the alternate complete demos. Again, more on that later, if I remember. So I began to fill out most with footage. I actually took all the footage I'd taken from the first version of the video and put into the 2008 version, and into the alternate complete demos version, and I left the first version pretty barren. It was pretty full at that time, not completely full, but there was a decent amount of stuff there, and it never got back to its previous status before everything just kind of went off the deep end. So I was focusing mostly on the first 2 versions of the video. Knowing that there was a very high chance that one of them wasn't going to get uploaded, probably going to be that third one. Now, I had multiple ideas for, the same clip, and that's kind of why I made multiple versions of the video, because stuff like Do You Like How I Dance has multiple things you could put in there. And overall, I think, I want to say that the song works pretty well for it. I mean, the chorus is literally, you understand mechanical hands are the rule of everything. You can't get much more perfect unless you specifically wrote a song for this. It works. But anyway, I ended up putting the most work into the 2008 version, or the second version of the video. But eventually, I got kind of tired of working on these videos. I didn't really pay much attention to the third version, to be honest. It was mostly just if I had a good idea for that one, I'd go over there and put something in there, but really I wasn't paying attention to it too much. Mostly concerned with the first 2. And I had minds to upload all 3 at some point. But mostly focusing on the first 2, but I got kind of tired with it, and I eventually told myself, I'll work on this later, and I knew, in my head at that moment, That's not true. I'm not gonna do this. I'm never gonna return to this. And it's true. I never did. I never returned to it. But that's not the end of the story. That's only the first 3 iterations in that video. Now, I probably should explain leading too far into it. What does that mean? Well, by that I mean, I was going to just, well, lean too far into it. I don't know why I was thinking that, but just kind of, with much more respect or accuracy or whatever, or reverence for the source material. In a much more, I don't want to say it because it's going to sound stupid, but serious tone. And the song did kind of help, because part of the reason why I started with the complete demos version initially is because it had a nice back and forth. I like the version of the song, but there's a nice back and forth, the high pitch and the low pitch, and I was going to utilize that. Let me explain how I utilized it. I messed with the typical impact font style meme in 2 ways. One was that I changed the text border. Normally it's black. If you don't have border around your impact font text, it looks bad. I'm just saying. Border your text. But with this, I messed with it a bit. Depending on how the voice was pitched, I either colored it red or blue. Red for low pitch, blue for high pitch. I did it for the entire song. If it was normal pitched, it was just black. But I also messed with the placement of the text. Because the complete demos and even 2005 version, the 2008 version, Marvel's Mechanical Museum 2008 does diddly squat half the time with panning things different sides. It's lame. But the demos 2005 version, they do a lot more with that. But let's focus on the complete demos version and its alternate complete demos, because it's the same thing, really. It's just the alternate complete demos is the version of the song that Joe Hawley used in his college project The Other Way. There's more instruments, but at the end of the day, it's literally just the complete demos. But it is the first instance in timeline of 13. Nice. And when I should even explain why I used that. I'll try to get to that. But if something was panned to a specific side, then I would only put text on either the top or the bottom of the screen. So let's use, for example, the lines, "Do you like how I dance? I got zirconium pants, consequential enough to slip you into a trance." It has everything you're gonna need to know. So, "Do you like how I dance" is pitched up, so that was colored in blue, the border, not the text. But I'm not focusing on that right now. Now, if I recall correctly, it's panned to the right side. And if it's panned to the right, I put the text on the top. Probably because, and basically mostly because, the first lyrics in the song are panned to the right, and the top, where you're going to be looking, start off with. So, anything panned to the left is going to be playing exclusively on the bottom of the screen. But there's some shenanigans going on. See, there's 2 more options. There's center panned, which would be the top and then the bottom, like a typical impact font style meme. Sure, that kind of makes it seem like it's going to be, it was playing at the right side. But what would you do? Would you going to put the text in the middle of the screen? No. Then, funny thing. Sometimes in the song, you get 2 things panned to specific sides that are the exact same thing. So, to slip you into a trance in the song is, although it's panned to the left side, you get another pronunciation of "to slip you into a trance" panned specifically to the right side. So it's not panned to the center, it's like panned to both. It's not the same recording, it's a different recording. You can tell because it's not spoken the same way. And in that case, I would put it both the top and the bottom at the same time. Now, I like this idea. I like this. I think it kind of messes with, the typical impact font style meme. But the reasoning behind it and just the product looked cringe. I like the idea, I really do, but it looked cringe. So yeah, I don't know why I was doing that. I don't know why I was doing that. Now, I do actually have all 3 versions of these videos, by the way. Still have them. So sometime later, I was listening to the 2005 version. At this point, Pikmin's Will Everything 2 had already been released. And I was thinking about this video again, and I just got into the bird in my saddle, pun not really intended again, and I just decided I was going to sit down, I was going to finally make this video. No reverence to the previous videos, that's not true. Why did I say that? What I was going to do is I was going to take the previous 3 videos and combine them all together in one. This time, no series, no multiple videos. There's gonna be one video, and it's gonna use the 2005 version because I hadn't used that version previously. So I captioned the 2005 version, and I filled it out with footage from the previous ones. And the thing is, part of the reason why I wanted to do this video is because, well, the fourth version, because I think we're gonna burp again. Holy smokes! Oh, excuse me. Holy crap! Because I knew the longer I waited, the worse it was gonna get. It means I was gonna eventually start forgetting, you know, where stuff was and all the episodes. It's gonna get hard, and even with the revised review, that's kind of true over there. I do remember some stuff, like overall, like kind of the area, which episode it was, but like the numbers, not like the area in the game, but like the numbers. It is kind of difficult, but I just decided I needed to do this at some point to finally make this video. And in cases where there was multiple pieces of footage for the same line, I just chose which one I kind of liked better at the moment. And yeah, only to discover I had put, like, nothing in the flippity jibber jabber verses, because those ones, in my experience, always the hardest. They're always the hardest to do because they're so nonsensical. Like, they don't make any sense. How can you, like, find footage that fits the bill if the theme of the song in that section is words? Right? It's like Taken for a Ride, that song. It's half dystopian society and half love. I don't know what it is. I like to think the theme of that song is words. But anyway, so like it's kind of difficult, but like you can kind of like get a little bit of stuff there from it. But man, that was one of the hardest things to do. I actually was making the 2008 version, i.e. the second version of the video. I actually got basically up to the to the flippity jibber jabber verses before I stopped. And man, I was steamrolling that when I was doing that, man. Like, I was filling it in order, piece of footage after footage after footage. Man, I was doing great with that. Normally, just kind of sporadically went here and there. If I thought of something for this, I put it there, which is why the flippity jibber jabber verses were always for last, because I never thought of anything. But I had to do some stuff here. And overall, I finished the video. I filled it up with footage. But getting close to finishing it, doubt began to fester. I began thinking to myself, did I, of all people on the internet, want a video on my channel with the name of this? If I saw that on someone else's channel, I think there's some kind of mega fan. And I am very much not a mega fan. Very much not. And I didn't want someone thinking that. It's definitely not true. So I didn't want to be the person with this video on my channel. But I finished the video anyway, and I converted it into a video file anyway. And that's where the first variation of the fourth version comes in. Yeah, this is where things are kind of fuzzy. The first variation was at 360p, and that was a mistake. So that one basically doesn't exist. There was a mistake. I kept it anyway because it's kind of funny. And whatever. Then I went back and converted it at a higher resolution. I made a couple changes to the video. A higher resolution, and I went back and did a third variation with the colored text because I hadn't gotten much stuff from the third version of the video. So I called it like the main verse, the do you like how I dance, the first oh no, oh yeah, and I colored all that in the appropriate red to blue. I did gradients in the border though this time to kind of make the colors less obvious, because, you know, cringe and whatnot. Even though all the footage didn't necessarily fit very well with the colored text and like implying who's the one doing the speaking, and this thing I could probably easily go back and change. So I made two because I really wasn't sure which one I wanted to go with, and I uploaded both the second and third variation, or the first variation is not really important, to YouTube. Now, when you say upload a video to YouTube, there's an immediate assumption right there, and the video is set to public. And honestly, if you've ever uploaded a video to YouTube, the first option highlighted when it comes to like the status of the video is private. There's, you know, there's private, there's unlisted, and there's public. And I never set either of those videos to be public or unlisted at any point in time. They remained private because I wasn't sure which video I wanted to you know, set to be public. And I was really doubting myself on whether or not I wanted to have this video be uploaded. So I figured I'd probably think of it like a few minutes or maybe a few hours and convince myself, okay, I'll do it. Then went to a few days, and I never bothered to set the videos to public. And they have titles, they have descriptions. And the descriptions are basically just like, okay, this video was finished on this date. And the day I finished it, and, okay, you might notice that it's a disparity between the date I finished it and its publishing date because I was, being in, what was the word I used? What was the word I used? I had it before, I can't remember the word I used. I was being, like, indecisive. The reason is indecisiveness. But I never set them to be public. And even like a couple days later, I made a fourth variation, hence why there's 7 versions overall, because remember it's 1, 2, 3, 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, so that's 7. A fourth variation now I called Hybrid. Now the titles do have like stuff in parentheses, so I can discern which video is which, like which one has the plain, the color text. The hybrid one was I took the color text, put it on top of the plain text, and messed with the opacity so that way I could, like, kind of get rid of most of the color in the color. Right, in the colored text. It made the reds brown, and the blues really hard to see. But if you look for it, you can still see it. My goal was to just make something that's hard to see, right? Like, if you saw it, you could find it, but if you weren't looking for it, you wouldn't find it. So I did that to try to like alleviate the problem of finding a video I wanted to upload, or up to public rather. But I never did. And after about 2 weeks, I went back and edited the descriptions of the videos, stating that I had basically at that point given up. The reason I did edit the descriptions is because I would have to do it later on, in case I ever did decide to set the videos to be public. And that's where they remained. I currently have 3 videos on my channel that were never in their entire history set to be public. 3 finished videos, because it's like one finished video and different variations of it. But I just never wanted to. Thinking about it, past that, I think that maybe kind of be the right decision. I'm still kind of doubtful whether or not I want to be the person that has that on their channel. Maybe one day I can go back and make a 5th variation of it and I can finally do it. I don't think the video's dead forever, just dead for like the last 6-7 months. And the Mind Electric, but epic, lyric video. Yeah, that sounds interesting. Ever watched the Mind Electric but epic? You watched that one, right? I made a lyric video for it, an extended version, full version of the Mind Electric, and the full version of the Gobble Chicken song. And I put it into a lyric video. Probably because I wanted to do another, like, lyric video after, the 8-bit one. But it's a full version of the song. I just never bothered to upload it. It's basically finished. I couldn't share with anybody because, reasons. But, again, it's basically finished. And I just have it lying around. The reason I've never uploaded those because I already have the My Electric but Epic. I don't need, like, a second version of that exact same video, right? It's already on my channel. Why do I need a second one? That's why I never bothered to upload it, because it's a useless upload. But it does exist, so I mean, if people wanted me to upload, I probably would, but like, I never chose to. And that is actually the last thing I have to mention. Now, unless I'm forgetting something, which I probably am, so I'll probably put in the text after I'm done with this, that means we're going to move on to top 10 videos. Think a lot about the song views for this one, maybe the Mario 3D Land credits music or something, I don't know, we'll have to see how it comes out, or how it works out. And, yeah, just like last year, it's top 10 videos, right? I know I just said that, but whatever, it's something, right? Yeah, words. So, I guess I'll see you on the other side. original Fire Emblem. Although nobody cares about that, so... Welcome back. Unlike year 1, I'm not here to introduce a new channel, and actually I had a plan to do a kind of this heartfelt monologue here, but I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm here to, well, do a send-off. And just for the record, this is the profile picture I had during year 1. I forgot to mention that in my year 1 retrospective, but it's true, it's the one I had. And this, of course, for year 2. But it's time that I finally said goodbye. I can't linger in this year any longer. So, goodbye, good luck, and have fun.